First thing I would, and it looks like initiative was like half drawn out. I'm just going to clear it. And the first thing I'd like to ask of the party, first off, if you aren't on the iTunes stream, please get on it. I'm about to start playing music. And then you should hear it right now.
Yes.
Okay. And for all of y'all, the music should be coming in loud and clear. If it's not, I think you know what to do by now. But if you don't, you can ask me. So, would anybody like to recap what's happened in the last session? Not all at once?
Is this Diablo music?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
Tristram.
Yeah, okay. It's having some sort of flashback.
Yeah, because we're in a ruined city, so Tristram music makes sense. Diablo 2 is one of my favorite games of all time. Okay, so if nobody will do it, I'll go ahead and do it. So the party had started essentially huddling in a cave, out of Jaw's reach of a massive bone claw that had sort of chased them in there. During a sandstorm, they made their escape and reunited with the Gift. At the Gift, this is where the retcon goes because we've lost Alec. At the Gift, Bella Luna has requested that Alec and Kelric accompany the Gift while the party, kind of moves on to Yaramoke. I believe the party still has 2, if not more, reasons to go without Alec. One was because Jenny's necklace sort of points in that direction for whatever reason. And then the other one is... you're kicking me so much, you're making my voice move around. And the other one is to obtain a corpse mushroom. Did I miss any other reasons? The other one was possibly to observe the Gift and see what the heck actually happens when it is delivered to Yaramoke. Aro, some key points. The Gift is basically a 1,000-person slave caravan to be sacrificed. Mm-hmm. The Gift is a sacrifice to something called the Dragon. And that Gift is delivered to Yaramoke, which is a ruined city, which I believe we already kind of went over. Yaramoke was basically ruined by the Dragon to make an example out of cities that don't get the Gift. Okay, just to catch you up a little bit. And Cameron, same thing. You're also... I think we kind of filled you in a little bit on that kind of stuff, but just in case you missed it. They eventually reached Yaramoke, where they found a sort of sign in sort of druidic fashion. There, Jenny had a sort of vision of what could be the dragon nearby, roosted in some part of the city. And lastly, they approached onto the outskirts of Yaramoke, a kind of outskirts town, and discovered a ruined building, which is where the map is now. And as Beastie kind of motioned in, looking for something to scavenge, the overgrowth of plants started tearing around her. And that's kind of where we left off. Any questions or before we begin?
I'm good.
All right. This is my puppy relief.
She's dead.
Yeah, just hand her off like a sack of potatoes. Thank you. Okay, give me 1 minute. Okay. Then we're gonna just launch straight into initiative in that case. I have it open. You may remember to select your character, the character's token, and start going.
There you go.
Yes.
That is an insanely good initiative for something that has -5. Okay, I know we got 4 players right now. So who's? Oh, it's Beastie. I'm going to roll for Beastie.
Okay. Also, I don't know if you know this, but you minimized the iTunes.
Ah, thank you.
Just so you know.
I appreciate that.
No worries.
Okay. Beastie's been rolled for. All right, Nadia. You see Beastie. Goddamn, I did it again. You see Beastie kind of fighting against these vines that are starting to wrap around her. What do you do?
I'm gonna go in and try to like relieve her of that
Okay, how do you do that?
with my blade.
Okay, fair enough. So these are. Can you see the creatures? They're a little bit in the background. There's 4 of them.
Like right here.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to rush up to this one,
Okay.
and I'm gonna take a swing with
All right.
my rapier.
Go ahead. That hits.
Okay.
And okay, and it's a sneak attack because you're with your
Yeah.
partner, so that's 16 damage. And so you tear. Basically, this is a dagger, right? You take a dagger and you just start tearing into the vines that start wrapping around Beastie, and you cut like one of them off, clean.
Okay.
Off. And the thing is sort of thrashing around, kind of spewing out this like ugly sap, this sour smelling sap.
Ooh.
Okay, Jenny.
I'm going to I'm just going to race up over here and aim at this one with my bow and try to hit it in its face if it has one.
It doesn't have a face, but you hit it regardless.
Okay.
And do 7 damage.
Okay.
And so an arrow kind of flies in and it hits like this sort of violet bulb that sort of shows itself after the vines start ripping around, and so it slices into the bulb, and you see just like this like, splattering of sap move out, and a little like puff of spores as you do that. Anything else?
Oh, and then I'm just gonna say, oh, there's just plants. It'll be fine. And that's my turn.
And it's their turn. Perfect to say that right when it's
Perfect. I know.
Nadia, can you place yourself either in the? Do you see how those squares there? You're kind of in between them. Can you put yourself on the upper or lower? Yes. Okay, that tells me where I can put the plant. So the plant's going to stay where it is then. It's going to roll 1d4 attacks. Very strange kind of beast. So I'm going to do that here. Hey, Kalrana, you're up next in the initiative, so hold tight. So it's going to do 3 attacks. 1, 2, 3. And just so you know, my rolls, Cameron, Arrow, are hidden. I prefer people hide their rolls and show them to the GM because I prefer to do things narratively than meta-wise. And so, Nadia and Beastie, the both of you are quite lucky. These things don't hit anything higher than 12 AC. 12 AC, you guys are both higher than 12 AC, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so the vines start lashing about, and like Beastie, you sort of roll underneath one, and Nadia, you kind of hop over one as they sort of thrash around wildly. This one over here is going to, you see the vines actually start detaching from the ground as it shuffles forward, and Beastie, you may be subject to up to 1d4. Oh my god, 4 of them. This could be very bad. 2, 3, 4. What's your AC, Beastie?
I have no idea. Let's see if it has loaded enough for me to see. 17.
17. So one of them is going to strike you for 2 necrotic damage.
Okay.
And another one shuffles forward. Actually, I want to say these shuffle forward in this manner. And that's their turn. Beastie.
Okay. Roll 20 is loading.
Sure. What do you plan to do?
Probably going to...
We can have Alstos
Sorry.
go. If you're
I'm
held up
I'm
there.
just seeing Dark Sun Turtles sound horrifying if they existed in the chat, and I don't even want to know.
Yeah.
I
We had a fun conversation.
That sounds awful. I am going to whack the nearest one, I think, with Primal Savagery.
Okay. There's two next to you. Do you want to go for the one that's been deeply wounded, or the one that's been partially wounded?
The one that's been deeply wounded. Why is that rolling to you again?
Yeah, it should be rolling to me instead of the whole party. If
Yeah,
you can,
I know.
If you can try to reset it, that'd be great. You do hit it, however, and so basically your
There we go.
hand grows these sort of like talons, and you rake across its bulb, and it sort of slices and folds open, and it lays to rest.
Yeah. Okay, now they're going to you. That was just to test it.
Okay. Anything else, Beastie?
No. I think that is all I can do.
Alstos.
I'm going to turn around because I'm sure that they're relatively loud for us attacking. And I am going to okay. But occupy the square. I want to be against the wall.
Yep, you can peek. That gives
Okay,
you
yep.
3/4 cover, if that mattered.
Yeah.
Or whatever the 5 plus a 5 AC equivalent of how they name it in 5e nowadays.
Okay. I don't know which ones have moved, so I'm going to hold my acid flash until I on this one until I see one of the other ones. Preferably closer, but I want to see one of the other ones.
What you want to do sounds like a readied action
Yep.
that consumes your
Action.
reaction. I can't remember if you're allowed to do anything, even move if you do that, but I'll just let it happen for now and then look at the rules later. So you want to throw a acid flask if like something gets closer, is that right?
Yes, preferably.
Preferably what? You're cutting out something.
Yes, if something gets close.
Okay. You tell me when that triggers. I'm gonna move things around, okay?
Okay.
Nadia.
Nadia is gonna move over here to this bush,
Okay.
and she's gonna try to kick its ass.
Kick its ass.
Eh.
Yeah, you easily hit it. It's got like a 5 AC.
Yeah.
It's a plant. And so you, seeing that the arrow has done quite a bit of damage to the bulb, you take your dagger and draw it like basically right into the center and just rip it out, like this sort of sap and spores gushing out of its form as it dies.
Yeah.
Okay. Jenny. The one on the left's hard to see. The one on the right is easy to, if that helps you. Okay. Taking an action. Got it. Yeah, you can throw a spear. I think it's a 20-60 range. Or if it's a javelin, it's a 30-60. Although I think I've been treating... is it a spear or a javelin? Spears are throwable, but you'd throw it at disadvantage because you're beyond the 20-foot range. Okay. You take a shot and easily find its target. Man, these plants are slow. This is practically like target practice back home. And you do 9 damage. Oh, well, your wish will be granted later. So, next is the plants. So this one's going to move up over here. And this one's going to move up over here. And do they have reach? Yes, they do. So Nadia and Beastie, you'll both take 1d4 So first we'll do Beastie. Oops. 3 attacks against Beastie. 1, 2, 3. Wow, rolling low today. Y'all are very lucky. Beastie, you easily just sort of tumble and leap out of the way as multiple tentacles just sort of lash out. Nadia,
Woo!
good thing you didn't roll with advantage or it would have crit you. Nadia, you take 3 attacks. 1, 2. And this one hits a 15, a 19, and a 17. Your AC was a 17, so it's gonna
My
hit.
AC is a 16.
Okay, so it'll still hit twice. So it'll do 10 necrotic damage total.
Oof.
Jesus.
Okay, and that's their turn. Beastie,
How bad is she looking?
how about is Nadia looking? She looks
Yeah.
wounded, but not like deeply wounded.
Okay. Then I'm not too concerned at
Yeah.
the moment,
Her
so
legs
I'm
have
going.
been kind of like torn up, and there's a little bit of rot there, but she
Okay.
doesn't look terrible.
In that case, I am going. Where is my? Okay, I'm gonna create a bonfire underneath this.
Excellent. It's gonna
Plank.
do a reflex check, which it's so good at those.
Um,
It fails and takes
So-
8 damage.
yes.
And as that happens, it bursts into flames, and the flames just like sort of like tear into it and like kind of burst up. Like it seems, as they say in Pokemon, super effective.
I don't know why I didn't think about using fire earlier.
Okay,
Mm,
yeah, it's technically not canon with these, but I like to add vulnerabilities and resistances to lots of creatures because I think it's more interesting that way. And Ostos.
Okay, so the one died that I was holding my action on. So I'm just gonna
Yep.
peek around the corner and throw a vial real quick at this. I believe it's a Dex 30.
Dex, okay. Yeah, it fails. It's got a negative
Jesus,
5.
I
Dex
crit
saving
that
throw.
damage. Sorry.
It's okay. Yeah, you got the best. Go ahead and nice 1 damage.
One
It is
damage.
what it is, my dude. And
That's worth an
So-
arm pump
so-
to Astos.
it's something like it went a little wide, and like only some of the acid kind of burst out and spurred on the creature, and there's like a little bit of coming off of the bowl, but it's otherwise mostly untouched. Okay, Nadia.
Great.
Can I just step over this plant right here?
It's
to
rough
get...
terrain, but yes.
Alright, so I'm gonna step right here.
Okay.
And I'm going to shove my pointy thing into its center.
No sneak attack this time.
Yeah.
So I'll just count out whatever it says for that. Provided you hit that very difficult 5 AC. Okay, 8 damage. And so this one, not being distracted by your allies and its full centered focus on you, you sort of it sort of moves slowly, and you manage to stab it in between like some of the approaching tentacles. Jenny.
Okay.
Oof. Keep in mind, if you have a two-handed weapon like a bow, you have to actually drop it in order to pull the dagger. So a weapon stow and a weapon pull is each an interaction. You get 1 interaction per. So can I offer something that'll make this happen anyways? But it's a good teachable moment. At the end of your last round, you could say something like, "I put my bow away." After I shoot it, so that at the beginning of this round you can pull your dagger. That's how you can kind of like switch weapons in between. But it has to be pretty deliberate. If you want to, alternatively, if you really, if you have a bow out but you really need a dagger, you can drop the dagger for a free action and then pull your dagger as an interaction. Does that make sense? Okay. And so for now we'll just say because I don't think we knew those rules, so we'll just say that's what you did. And go ahead and swing with a dagger. 23 hits 7. and so you tear into this creature, but it's still standing, and so it gets its last dying spite maneuver. Yeah, that would have been dope. So it did. I clicked it twice, but the first one, 2 attacks. So I'm going to do 1 on Jenny and 1 on Nadia. First one's on Jenny. And both of you just sort of like hop over it like jump rope as it swings a wide tentacle from right to left. And Beastie. I see Beastie moving her fire over, so I'll roll the dexterity saving throw. It fails. And
Sorry,
in
I was
a
muted because I was stuffing my mouth. Yes,
okay.
I'm gonna
And
move
in
my
a-
bonfire underneath that one.
Yeah, and so the fire underneath the other just sort of pulls under the as if it's being pulled under the ground and placed underneath this new creature, and it bursts into flames. Spores kind of puffing out in one last, well, not a death cry. And that's the end of the plants. Good job, guys.
Nadia does her little happy dance.
Okay.
PC is going to immediately head for that chest that had originally caught her interest.
Yeah, the whole reason.
Like, well,
Whole reason you
now,
got into the mess, right? So,
what's in the shiny?
I'm taking a look here, getting myself reacquainted. So, was it underneath a board? So, what I'm seeing here is that it might have been like sort of hidden, slightly hidden underneath a board. I think that's what it was kind of seen. And so,
Yeah,
near the-
it was in this direction, kind of hidden under debris, I think.
Yeah.
Was
that's the one. So, yep, you saw a glint, I think, of it underneath a rotting board, and so you kind of ripped the rotting board apart. It was actually very brittle, and what you see is this very heavily weathered chest, small, and it does not appear locked. So as you are able to open it, if that's what you wish to do, I never assume.
kind of want to check it out and make sure there aren't like vines around it and
Sure, give me
like
an
look it over.
investigation.
Yeah.
Or if you're
cut my passes.
specifically looking for the plants, you can give me a nature alternatively.
Can I try to identify what I am? Right. That might
Yeah,
Cool.
give me a nature check for identifying the plant. Yep, nature check will be. So anyone who's trained in nature can do this. If you're not trained in nature, I kind of don't let you do it. And this is technically not in your favorite terrain anymore because this is sort of like a ruined city. Plus, it's strangely it's full of life. Ostos, with the big boy roll. Ostos, this
Ostos
is
always with the big boy roll.
yeah. So Ostos, this is a the violet fungus. The violet fungus takes over things. That's sort of it's like essentially its spores sort of land onto things and take them over. And in this case, it's taken over these like vine clusters and kind of pulling the life out of these vine clusters. They become fruitful with this this bulb that you attack. And they you're not, even with what you rolled, you're not incredibly certain like where it's indigenous from, but they tend to be around anywhere where there's a lot of death. Like you've kind of heard stories where like in like absolutely terribly bloody battlefields, this will bloom.
Okay. Any salvageable parts or potions or anything like that?
So let me tell you something with your 24. There's a bulb, but when these things mature, they create a flower, which can be very valuable. You don't see any flowers here, however, but if you stay here long enough, you figure you might find one sooner or later.
You're saying that if I find one with more fungus, it'll be fine.
Yeah,
Okay. Cool. Thank you.
sure. Anything else y'all do?
Did I notice anything with the chest? I'm assuming not.
Investigation 7. It looks clear to you.
Yeah, I'm just gonna open it.
Okay. You
Looks
open
clear
it
to
up,
me.
and it's a little jammed, however. And so you're not sure if the hinge mechanism has like completely
I'm gonna
like
beat on it with
rusted
my
away. Well, not rusted, 'cause
tibia
that
until
might
it opens up.
melt. Okay, give me an athletics check.
Oh, this should be fantastic. Joe, I can't see my other screen, baby. Put your butt down. Thank you.
Wonderful cat. And so you
Joe
strike.
has decided he's gonna be on camera. Sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. So you strike into this thing with your club, and you do some damage to it, but you think like it's gonna take some time to beat on this like it's not gonna. This is not an expedient way. It seems it might take a while. You can carry it with you. It looks like it's about 10 or so pounds.
I am defiantly going to pick it up and go, "This is coming with me."
All right.
Nope, that's fine. I got it.
She hugs the chest near her in defiance.
Chest.
And this chest is kind of sizable, so I don't know if it's going to fit in your pack. I don't know if your pack has a lot of things. Does it have a lot of things in it? This might be something you get going to hold in your hands.
I would say I don't have a lot of things, but I do actually, so.
If you do, let's say you're holding it in your hands.
Yeah.
And you can carry it around in your hands. And like if there's a battle, you can just free action drop it. Maybe
Yeah,
that'll even
that's-
help it along. to
That's
get
what
it.
I'm gonna do, I think.
Cool. All right. And you also notice that nearby, as you were kind of searching around with investigation, it does not require a very high roll. There was a skeleton nearby.
Ooh.
And
I like bones.
and
I want
off of
to check
it-
over the skeleton.
Yeah, so this is a skeleton that's like kind of old, like real old. And the bones look brittle. You don't think they
Okay.
would be you don't think they would be serviceable as weapons, but maybe as something else.
Hold on. I need to pull up my roll commentary.
And it's sort of like a bag of bones in like clothing that's like barely holding them together.
Joe, I
and on
swear
them
to
you
God,
see-
if you were...
And on the
I thought he was eating a plant.
sure, and on the belt loop, that's almost completely deteriorated, is a belt pouch with a hole that looks like it's been deliberately sliced open, like someone's been here.
I'm sorry, I'm just having a conversation with my cat. I'm sure you can all see that I'm going insane.
okay.
So I want to do a medicine check, I guess, on the...
Like how'd they die?
Yeah, if I can.
Sure. go ahead and
I
roll
am
that.
proficient in medicine, and I think our herbalism kit is on Francesca right
Okay.
now.
Go ahead and roll.
So I won't do, because I get a D4 if I use an herbalism kit, but
Gotcha. Yeah, I think this will be medicine because you're trying to determine cause of death.
yeah. Oh
Great
no, I
medicine.
mean medicine check with when I make a medicine check and have an herbalism kit on me, I get my medical intuition.
I understand. Okay. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
at this point,
But I think
given-
it's on
given your
Francesca, so
24 roll, I don't think you need any extra help. So, y'all with your 24 rolls. So,
it's a nice number.
The cause of death, even with this tremendous roll, the cause of death is not certain. What you are certain about is that, like, checking over the only evidence you can check over, which is the bones, is that is that you don't see any kind of like marks that would indicate weapon or natural claw attacks. So you don't see like scrapes or like indentations in the bones that would like imply like an axe hit or any of that kind of
Okay.
thing. And you like there's a bit of and like maybe if you look at the bones because you're so advanced in this that like you can tell that they're brittle because of age and not because of like malnutrition or that kind of thing. So you don't think they starved either.
Okay. So my conclusion from that would be that maybe they died to the plants or
that could be reasonable.
something?
Like what
because they don't
if the
have blunt
plants
force
ate a
trauma
person?
from like
Yeah, if the plants
the
ate a person, like if they became desiccated, you know, like all the water and life drawn out
Yeah.
of them, it wouldn't necessarily show in the bones. So that
Yeah.
could be a possibility.
that would be my like assumption from that.
'Cause, like, you turn around, it's like it's the plants.
They ate him.
Yeah.
You said he had like a cut belt loop.
Yeah. So there's like a old, like deteriorated belt, and on it is a pouch that looks like it has been cut with like a knife on the bottom. So it's empty.
Oh, okay. So it is empty.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's not anything still inside it.
Nothing.
Okay, I'm just gonna take the chest then. Fuck off. I got what I wanted.
All right.
Um,
And
everyone else kind of looked over the plants, right? What
Yeah,
was the
Ostos
deal with
did.
the plants, Ostos?
They're they take over other living things. Use them as kind of like minions or hosts. These are just normal vines, but fungus that spreads around. A lot of hers are dead star. Well, they're now zombie plants, and so
Okay. So they're not
there's
useful at
probably a
all
lot.
to like herbalism wise, the leaves and vines and shit.
I already looked. There's only like a couple bulbs. Sometimes they sprout. I didn't see any.
Okay. Alrighty. Then I'm gonna fuck off out of here
all right.
with my
Uh,
chest.
If nobody else does anything as you travel on, I'll give it pause in case somebody wants to do something here.
Would I grab some of those smaller bones? Maybe yours or toad?
Can you
Thinking
grab
about
some of the smaller what? What do you think?
bones. Some of the smaller bones.
Oh sure. Yeah, you grab like finger bones or something if you want small bones.
Thinking about bone meal later on, perhaps.
Sure. So you can just say you've got like a handful of brittle bones,
Sounds good.
and that'll be great for if you got a mortar and pestle, you can grind those in because they're already kind of falling apart. And as you
Nice
guys move
good thought.
on, you come to. We're just gonna hide that. I already hit it, but I regret not being smart enough to hide that earlier. That's okay. Now, as you kind of travel on, you see that there's a building ahead that is actually intact. It's sagging and dilapidated, but is more intact than a lot of the cottages that you've crossed by on the road. And in front of it, you see a weathered signboard that lies half buried near the door.
Does it say anything on it?
Has an image. Generally, people don't write any language on it because most people wouldn't even be able to read. But the image, if you take a closer look, I assume you come up to it or not.
Most certainly, yes.
Okay, so you go up to it, which puts you like kind of near the like here, and what it has is a faded image of a Crodlu holding a flagon of ale like a person. So it's like a sort of personified Crodlu. And if you don't know what a Crodlu is, for the two new people, those are basically like riding raptors. They're except they're like kind of long necked, and they have pretty big bodies, such that a person can actually ride on them.
If an ostrich and a raptor had a baby.
Yeah, and then it like
A
grew
horrible
into like a
baby.
horse size. That would be like
Develop the drinking problem.
They're practically horse-sized. Yeah.
I love them.
So that's what you see. And can you give me a perception check? Astos? So you hear the faintest, like, bumping inside. Like, there might be somebody in there.
When I look back at the group, finger to my mouth, going back towards the building. Like,
I'm going to move forward and laugh hysterically at the image of a Crodlu drinking a
It is pretty funny.
flag and a ale. That's silly.
Okay. Y'all do anything else?
How tall is the building?
Real tall. It's actually a second-story building. However, the
So
second story
I
looks
could-
like it's like not approaching collapse, but it's pretty it's under some serious disrepair.
Okay. Could I get up to the second story to try and look out, or are we not close enough?
You could try. You could attempt to climb the walls to the second story. There's like a sort of window. It looks like it's actually kind of broken. But you can attempt that
Okay.
if you want to do like an athletics.
Okay. Oh, from the outside?
Yeah, from the outside. Yeah, from the inside. I mean, you can
Absolutely.
tell it's basically you're just grabbing onto because it's sort of made of cobblestone, or not cobblestone. But it's made of stone, and there's parts you can kind of grab onto. It may be a little difficult.
This
but
should
you can give
be
it a shot.
excellent. Yeah, I'm gonna drop the chest and start trying to like
Okay. I'll say to
scrabble
16,
my way up.
I'll say to 16, like it kind of takes you,
Yeah.
like a little while to get there, like maybe half a minute. Like you really have to like deliberately step up. And once you look
Mhm.
through the window, you realize that the second floor has completely collapsed.
Oh no,
like-
I wanted to get up to the second floor to look out over the area.
Oh, you
Not
mean
to look
just John
in.
okay itself?
Yeah.
Oh, sure. So you kind of climb up high enough to just look out, and you see like a couple things. You see that tower that we mentioned earlier. You actually see part of it crusting over a hill, and you also see a an area that's like it's actually kind of hard to see. There's like fog or something in the distance.
Hmm.
So those are kind of like the two. Everything else just kind of looks like undiscernible ruins to you. It may be that in order to see the crater that I think you're hoping to see, you might have to actually get up that tower.
Okay. I'm gonna just kind of plop my way back down.
Yeah, kind of figured that's what you're going for.
Plop on top of my chest that I dropped and then pick it back up.
Gotcha. And Astos just said he modified his sensitivity, but he thought he could hear something inside. And yeah, what do you do now? It looks like this is a windowless. Well, I assume that there's probably a window. Yeah, here and here. So you want to approach which window? Okay. Sure, give me a stealth check, and also give me a perception, because it's going to be dark in there. And do you have dark vision? Well, actually, it's dark vision to even see in there, but it's... if it's dark, even dark vision folk have disadvantage on perception, just so you know. So, give me a disadvantage perception along with a stealth check. Okay. So you sort of peek over through the window. And then if you get a decent roll on your perception disadvantage, the 3 is gonna make it so that you kind of peer inside and like you can't make out more than like, so it's not a total failure. You can't make out more than like a few feet in, but it does in fact look like a bar. You sort of see a bar, but if you look further out, it's the details of things get like more and more grayscale, and you just see like beyond that some like tables, and chairs and stools and stuff like that. It's very dark in there currently.
Oh, maybe it's my imagination. Can be at times. Probably big rats.
But is there still booze in there? I'm just gonna kind of like finger gun Genevieve, like Jenny knows.
Finger bow.
Yes.
Finger
Exactly.
crossbow. Okay. Actually, there aren't crossbows in this game either, because crossbows need metal components.
I want to break down the door.
So you go up to the door, and what do you do?
I'm gonna thorn whip it.
Okay.
I'm
You,
learning my lesson about how weak I am.
Yeah, so you go up to the door and give me a thorn whip attack. And thorn whip can actually push or pull. That's funny. So you're basically, your arm extends out as like a whip of thorns, and you pull towards you, and it turns out the door is open. So you just like rip up some
Whip
of the
the
wood
door
of the
open.
door, and the door.
I'm fine with this.
The door's whipped open, and then you realize I can open doors from a distance with thorn whip, which is kind of cool.
You know what? That can be really useful, actually. So
Sure.
I'm.
Yeah. And so you see up ahead.
I opened the door.
And this less obscured by a dirty window, you can see kind of a ways into the place, and it looks like there's like some kind of fireplace with wood pushed up against it.
Okay.
As you peer deeper inside, you see that there's like a number of like just dead people like laying around,
Interesting.
all kind of
I like-
dried up and like there's a dead person like in a chair like this, and there's a dead person like laying on the floor beyond him and that sort of thing.
I just realized how absolutely batshit what I was about to say is gonna sound, but I like dead people. I'm gonna go in and look at them.
Okay.
How dead do they look? Do they look fresh dead or like?
They look like they've been dead for a long time. Their skin is like tight. I mean, you're not actually close enough for me to give you good details.
Right.
But as
They
you,
still have skin. Does.
yeah,
But
so their skin's like
BT
pulled
just
tight on their
goes,
face.
More dead people.
Their eyes are real sunken in, like, and they almost have this like sort of dusty dryness to them, and like their hair's mostly fallen out. This sort of like pallid, whitish, almost bluish skin, and that's when Ostos, the noise that you heard earlier gets a little louder, and it wasn't just like thumping; it was like it was it sounded like something slamming around. And as the slamming continues, I'd like all of you to do a disadvantaged perception check.
Immediately gonna say, not fresh.
There is no careful.
Ostos, I'll just give you that vision since you got through there. Okay.
You said perception, right?
Yes. Anybody who wow, that's really high for that. Anybody who gets a 16 or higher will not be surprised, and will be part of the surprise round.
Ooh.
It looks like Ostos and Beastie will be part of the surprise round.
It's That's
As much as I'd
cool and
hate
understanding.
to,
I'm not part of the surprise round.
You are
Yeah, as much
not,
as I would love
looks like you got a
to,
17. Oh, I'm sorry, disadvantage.
disadvantage.
No, yeah,
I didn't know how to do the
everybody,
toggle, so
everybody, yeah.
As much as I would love to.
In that case, I should be. No, I don't have to roll disadvantage. Yeah, because mine's from making noise, not seeing it. Okay. Well, it is what it is. So,
Being honest, shit.
yeah, I appreciate the honesty. And so, as you're moving through here and you hear the smashing, from what sounds like beyond this location here, all the bodies start
Oh,
to get up.
Oh no.
now I'm sad.
Okay,
I am gonna put the cat out.
sure, go ahead. We can take a
He is
twofer.
being a turd. How's the puppy?
She is the cutest thing ever, and also a little fucking demon.
I mean, puppy. So, that's fair.
Yep. So I don't get to sleep, but also she's gives me adorable moments that I love.
Yeah.
That
Well,
is
I'm
adorable.
stuck
So,
with typing with one hand because my lizard won't get off of it.
So
I mean,
all the zombies get up. That's half their movement, and then they move towards you. So 5, 10. The only one that's actually going to be able to attack is this one here at BC. The rest, here, I'll just, yeah, I should just trust my instincts. This one will, they can dash, but they won't be anywhere. I'm gonna, this is a crawly one, so I'm actually gonna make it slow. And they all start just kind of sauntering over to you. These noises that from their throat are so raspy as they come towards you. Beastie, though, there's one next to you that's going to kind of swing at you and hit a 16.
does not hit.
Okay, and so as it sort of goes for your throat, you just barely dodge out of the way. And did we actually? That was the surprise round. So actually, let's remove all the turns and roll a new initiative. Roll initiative, please. I figure the zombies aren't going to win this initiative, but the plants did pretty good last time.
Ooh,
God damn, yet another
why
pretty
is that
stellar
popping
initiative.
up? Okay.
Yeah, remember if it doesn't show up in my D20 turn order, you got to roll again, even if you had a good one. And if you had a bad one, congratulations, you get to reroll. Okay, I see Beastie, I see Ostos, I see Jenny, I need Nadia. And can you give me a... You know what? I'm actually gonna... What's your bonus, Cameron? What's your initiative bonus?
+0.
Okay. I rolled for you.
Oh, okay.
I hope you don't mind. Just a way
That's
of like
fine.
obscuring you a little bit. Hopefully people don't pay too much attention to the turn order.
Make sure we kill the right stuff
And
on our end.
and Nadia was she was gone. Was that it? I'm gonna roll for her.
Mm-hmm.
We gotta keep moving. I will click her and find something that has a relatively +2 initiative at least, because she seems like a higher initiative character. Okay, there's her initiative. And now descending, Jenny. They've come alive. What do you do?
I'm just gonna step forward and say, God damn it, all we wanted was some alcohol. And I'm going to lunge at the one in front of me
This
with
one
my
here?
spear.
Got it.
Yep,
Do
that one.
easily and do 5 damage. Okay. and you just stab into its chest, and it just goes like, and looks like it seems hardly. I won't say unaffected. You did damage to it, but it's not seeming to be in pain like a human.
Yep, and then I'm just gonna curse at myself and say, "Oh, I fucking vexed myself and forgot a fucking hunter's mark." Anyways, that's my turn.
Well, you can use the bonus action now. The hunter's mark.
I guess I could. Yeah, I'll do that. I'm actually gonna do it to this one over here if I can, so that way.
The lady in red or the crawly?
The crawly, because is it my damage or anybody's damage for the hunter's
Your
mark?
damage only.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah.
Okay, I've tagged him to mark.
Okay.
Ostos, you've got a zombie at your ankles.
So first off, are these 5 feet of each other?
Yes.
I am going to. I don't know which way Nadia's looking, but I'm going to pivot around her, and as I am, I'm going to toss the acid blast in this one.
Okay.
That's also going to be dexterity saving throw on the 2. This 5 feet.
Yep, I've already rolled them. They both failed. So both of them will be taking that damage. What's the damage?
Damage is poop. Haha. Dane through.
Oh man. Massive damage.
Yes.
It's just you throw it in the center and it doesn't explode quite how you were hoping. It does splash a little bit on them. And does damage. We're gonna skip you for one turn, Cameron, as you mentioned.
Opportunity attack.
Anything? Yeah, go ahead. Oh, you're moving away? Attack of opportunity?
Yes.
And it just claws at your feet and you just kind of hop over it as you run away.
Okay.
Okay, Beastie.
Okay. I am going to savagely try and eviscerate the one. How do I keep doing that? The one right next to me with primal
Okay.
savagery.
Go for it. 18 easily hits and you do 5 damage. So you rake into its stomach and like it opens up and its entrails fall out and it seems unaffected by this. Despite that, you've done good.
How? If these are all kind of desiccated, are they like?
They're like
dusty?
wire at this point. They've kind of shriveled up and turned into like this dusty, nasty, wiry.
Not good eating.
Yeah, it's disgusting, even by your
DC is
standards.
disappointed.
Yeah, Nadia.
Can Nadia see these guys over here?
Yep, sure can.
She's gonna do a thing.
Do the thing.
With the bolt, with the flame and the sword, you know.
Okay, sure. So you run up to it with the sword. Do you run for the prone one? You can get advantage on the prone one.
Yeah.
Sure.
Up here.
Give me an advantaged attack roll. And since it's advantage, you actually do get a sneak attack.
So there's my thing, and
I
here's
need
my
the
sword.
attack roll. Okay. Oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
Oh, well, actually, that still hits the zombie though. So,
Okay.
and so you do
18.
really silly. Yeah, I mean, plus the 3 from the.
Yeah.
Oh, the flame blade hits the other one. So you come over and you stab into its neck, and you start almost severing the head. It almost is severed, but it's still alive. And then, as you do that, as you rip it out, like flame flies out of the blade and strikes the lady nearby. And that's the first time she gets hurt. So, and she takes like some of her chest gets burned from the flames.
Alright.
Okay. Good damage. Now for the zombies. It's gonna take all their actions just to move this distance. As they start crowding around Beastie.
Oh no.
This one's going to start crowding around Jenny. This is going to take all its movement to crawl this way. So one attack on Jenny, one attack on Beastie.
Come at me, bro.
On Jenny, yeah, you're both able to like kind of hold their arms back as they try to like get a bite in. And Nadia, the one on the ground, is going to try to bite onto your ankles. And man, they are not rolling good. And this woman over here is going to kind of try to do the same thing. Oops, not that one. And she hits a 19. And so you get 3 piercing damage as she starts like kind of biting into your shoulder.
Alright.
And this one crawls, or I should say, kind of stumbles over in this location. And then, yeah, that's going to be all for now. You're coming up soon.
You said
Uh,
3?
Yeah, 3 damage, piercing. Jenny, you're starting to crowd all over you.
Oh, fuck's sakes. This is all wooden, right?
Yeah, there's lots of wood here.
Okay. I have a bad idea. This is gonna be a bad idea. I'm
That is a bad idea. Let's see it happen.
This is gonna be a bad idea. I'm going to yell at the zombies and say I don't taste good, and then I'm going to fire breath them.
Okay. Fire breath. I'm assuming you're fire breathing these 2.
Yeah.
Here. Okay.
So it's
that's
a
dexterity
cone.
saving throw. Now, fire breath is not like bonfire. It probably will only light things that are very easy to
Yeah.
light on fire. Like
I just don't want to
paper
burn the
or
building down, and then we
Yeah,
all
yeah.
die.
So it's things like paper and kindling, like because it's basically a flash of fire.
Mhm.
Only really very flammable stuff.
Yeah, it's not like an actual dragon where it's
I
like,
think you're okay. Now,
Yeah.
if you cast bonfire on like somewhere, that might make the argument of a fire happening soon.
Mhm.
If you do bonfire for 6 seconds and then turn it off, it might actually still not catch the floors on fire.
yeah.
So big logs and stuff take a while to actually catch flame.
Okay.
So, one actually, well, what's the DC?
13.
One
Yeah.
actually succeeded, the other one failed.
Okay.
I'm gonna say the one on the ground failed, because that makes a lot of sense to me.
Mhm.
And so, one will take 4, one will take 2, is that right?
Yeah,
Gotcha. Kind of a lame roll on that one. That's okay.
it is. Oh well.
And so the standing one gets a little bit of hot breath, and the crawling one gets heavily singed. Ostos. And also, they don't seem convinced by your saying that you don't taste good. Just an update. All right, Ostos, what are you doing?
That as I ran by, Nadia kind of took up all that front over there. I'm going to feel bad for one. And fish into my bag and throw a black vial over here and cover this area with grease.
With grease?
Yep.
Okay.
They all need to get dexterity saving throws.
And so both of them need dexterity, so I'll do that right now.
Yep.
A 7 and a 5, they both failed, and one's already prone. But this, or actually it's the 3 of them, right?
Yep, all 3.
I'll have those 2 rolls be for the 3, because one of them's already prone, so I feel like that's unnecessary. But the others have fallen prone. Okay, I've indicated proneness. And is there anything else that grease does besides make them fall prone right now? I think that's it.
I think that's it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's it.
Next is, next is Cameron. So, as the bashing noises sort of continue in the other room, you see a mole crash through the door. This is token. So as this is all happening, out from the door crashes this powerful-looking mole. And with him crashing is a zombie. Zerdos. What would you like to do?
I'm kind of surveying the room and just like
As you,
gonna
as you-
kind of call out.
Yep. As you're sort of holding the zombie back, you look over your shoulder, and you can clearly see like a group of individuals fighting the zombies with you.
Jesus, you fucking woke them all up. I'm gonna try and finish off the one that is on me, so I'm gonna swing my hammer at him.
Okay.
Just for everyone's benefit. So Zerdos is a mull. So he's big, muscly, kind of like, I don't know how well you can see his appearance in the dimness, but looks pretty large. You can see he's wearing some heavyish looking armor and carrying a shield and a hammer. So he's gonna try and smash the zombie with his warhammer.
Okay. So you have fading inspiration just for this one battle, by the way.
Okay.
Because of the circumstance you're in.
Okay.
Okay, that is a hit, and you do 5 bludgeoning damage. And so you hammer onto this thing's head, and it's not quite dead yet.
All right. I think just seeing that the rest of the people here look a bit outnumbered, I'm going to risk the attack of opportunity and move with whatever amount of movement I have left towards this closest group of zombies, I guess.
Okay. You sort of feint the zombie and get out of its clutches as I rolled a 9, and you're able to move as you please here. That's like 15. So you actually can be right behind the zombie that's like right here, for example.
All right, up there.
Okay. Additionally, you can do things like if you guys want to, you can like kind of try to hop over tables and stuff with acrobatics. Okay, that's Zeros' round. Beastie.
Okay. Ooh.
This is your theme song, by the way, Zardos. Conan the Barbarian music.
Sweet.
I am
Need to find a
going
camel to punch.
Yeah.
I just realized that I can do. I have 2 weapon fighting apparently.
Oh, okay. Well, if you have a weapon in your offhand,
I do.
you may do that sort of thing.
So I'm going to, since I left my chest outside, stab the green one with my dagger, and then also whip out that Erdlu tibia that I have, and bonk him on the head.
Okay. Bonk and a
Bad
stab.
corpse.
Go ahead and give me 2 rolls. And yep, those will both hit, and so 8 damage total on. Is it the green one or the red dress?
The green guy.
Got it. And so
Yeah.
you stab into its. I'm gonna say you stab on its hip just enough to pull it down so you can bonk him on the head. These things are resilient, however, and they're still alive.
Okay, so I'm gonna stab him and bonk him, and then go, hi!
It seems.
I'm
it
assuming
seems a
looking
little-
like way up.
Yeah, it seems a little like unresponsive. Like the eyes are sort of glazed over.
Not
and-
at it, at the guy behind him.
Oh, okay. In that case, yeah, you get a decent look at him, and he's a big boy.
He's
All
not
right.
as big as Coggy.
Not as big as Coggy. And as far as moles go, he's actually a little bit more like lithe, if that makes sense. Like he's got a very nimble look to him. Some other moles are very bulky, and he's sort of like strong and kind of nimble looking. I'm going off your stats.
Nimble, I wouldn't necessarily say I'm particularly
Oh, I'm
nimble.
sorry. Yeah, I'm thinking of another character. I'm bad. Yeah. Yeah, he's just big and buff. All right. Yeah, you have actual like some decent armor, I think, instead.
Yeah.
Okay. Nadia.
I'm gonna use my green flame blade again.
All right, hack away. Who are you hitting first? There's the one on the
This one.
ground that's looking very terrible, and there's the standing one which is looking a little better.
I thought the
Well,
others
you
were
know
all
what?
prone.
I'll take.
They're all prone. That's a good
Yeah.
point. But the one that's actually crawling in terms of like the picture is the one that's terrible.
The one in the red, yeah?
You go for the one in the red? Okay,
Yeah.
and yep, that definitely hits. And is that 16? And you, again, you're sort of pulling along the neck, and her head's like almost dangling from the spine, but it's not quite enough. And the fire bounces over to the one on the left, and like ignites him, and he gives out this strange screech as he dies.
Is the
Good combo.
is the green flame blade gonna set the oil slick on fire?
I'm gonna say no on this one. I want something more heavy in terms of fire, like a fire breath or something.
Like
a
my
little,
bonfire?
something a little more denser. Yeah, the flame blade's a little bit more like arcane-y, magic-y. Nadia, as you do that, as it dies in that sort of flame that catches on its head, I'll say, can you give me a perception check?
Yeah.
You're very close to it, so no disadvantage. Like, you're right next to it.
Perception.
I'll say the little bit of flame gives light.
I like
Trust
that.
You see, there was a flower sprouting from its back.
Oh,
And
shit.
as it burns and dies, a puff of spores comes off its body. I'd like you to roll a Constitution save.
Oh
I
no!
hate you.
She'll be fine.
Hell yeah, I will.
Okay, you saved. And so as you do that, and that makes sense because you saw it. I should have even given you advantage because I liked it. But
I was gonna say give her
you
advantage
see it?
because she's awesome.
like you cover like your face in that moment of the spores popping out, and then they settle, and you manage to get back into the fight.
Did I recognize them as the same kind of thing that happened back with the bushes?
I mean, you saw a flower like sprouting from the body, and you saw a puff of spores. Make with that what you want.
Okay.
Okay. Good kill though. And now for the zombies. So these ones over here are gonna get up, and I think is it when they end their turn or if they try to move in it for the grease?
I think it's
Oh, it's difficult terrain. So this one actually can come over here, but it will not be able to attack
Ends its. It must make another dexterity hit.
when it ends its turn. Although thanks to the grease, because of the rough terrain and having to get up, it's used all its movement just to what's half 10 and 5. Oh, okay, no, it can still attack. And then this one gets up 10, and so they're both going to swing at you, Nadia. But then they have to see if they fall prone again. 2 attacks. Yeah, you easily get out of the way. You sort of shove them aside as they come at you. And now they're going to make dexterity saving throws to see if they fall over again. 1, 2. Double failures. They both slip and fall back over into the grease.
Johnny is just gonna laugh.
And this time, they are getting a little covered in grease. So. All right. And then we got... One's going to turn around on you, Zerdos, and make an attack. And hits an 18. Impressive. And so it just, like, as it turns around, it just swings wildly and strikes you in the head for 7 bludgeoning damage.
Oh, wait. Sorry, it was an 18?
Yeah.
That doesn't actually hit.
Nice. And so as it goes forward, and this is a fast swing for a zombie, do you have a shield?
Yeah.
You just swing up your shield and knock it aside.
As I do that, I'm also going to riposte attack it.
That's awesome. Okay, what is that? Can you show? Can you
So,
share that with me?
What is that?
There might be if you might be able to click it and then just show to VTT.
Yeah, there we go.
And if you can't, awesome, thank you. When a creature misses you with a melee attack, you use a reaction to expend 1 superiority die to make a weapon. Go ahead. and you can add the superiority die to the attack damage roll. That's dope. Go ahead, dude. So roll superiority die and then roll an attack. You do hit.
Oops. Okay, let me see.
It's a zombie, after all.
There we go.
Cinematically, this is awesome. So you do 16 damage.
I
so
will
as
be
it-
right back. There was a loud noise.
Okay. So as it swings around and turns at you with this sort of like unnatural vigor, you smash it up, the arm up with the shield, and you bring down the hammer and splatter its head. It is dead. And now, I would like Beastie and you to make Constitution saving throws as spores start shooting out again. Let's get those rolls. Constitution saving throws. Okay, Beastie makes it. I love that corner music. We're probably gonna switch back now, though. Oh, I missed your con. Okay. Yep, that saves. So, Zerdos, you actually breathe it in, but you're just such a tough-ass mole that you feel like a little bit of haze, you know, in your eyes and in your breathing, and you're just like, I'm gonna fight through this pain. And Beastie, you manage to sort of duck underneath the cloud of spores, and then it sort of settles and you dodge out of the way.
So do I notice the spores?
Yeah. I would say if you save against them, you've noticed them.
Okay, then as a like
You can make
free
your
talk
perception checks
thing,
if you'd like.
I'm just gonna like, when they die, they puff stuff. Don't breathe it.
Sure.
Very unarticulate.
Yeah, and you're not like that's not gonna give anybody advantage, but might help somebody know not to be next to them if they die. Okay, and that was actually just Zerda's reaction. Back to the zombies. So one, I think Ostos was missed him, and then two at Jenny.
Come at me.
Oh no.
They successfully came at you. An 18
Oh no.
crit.
Oh shit. Okay.
no.
Oh no.
It's going to hit you for 5 piercing damage as it crawls onto you and starts biting. And
Okay.
the other one that's on the ground starts biting on your ankle and crits for 8 damage. So the total is 13 damage.
Jesus Christ.
As they like.
Oh,
the
that
rest of you see,
hurt.
like, the rest of you see like these zombies are starting to feed on Jenny, and it's not looking good. She needs help.
Okay, maybe I do taste really good. This is bad.
Yeah, and then this one is going to start sauntering over behind Zerdos, the one that isn't connected. Jenny, what do you do?
So, like, am I like prone or anything while they're biting me,
No,
or grappled?
There's not even a grapple. It's just I'm just doing flavor.
Okay,
I just
no
like
worries.
flavor.
I'm just gonna stab the one biting me.
Sure, that'll be the.
So I'll
that'll be
pick
the
that one.
Yep.
Yeah. Goodness. Freaking zombies. If only it was a cleric.
That'll hit.
Oh, thank God that'll
And,
hit.
yeah, and it's still not down yet, but it looks like you're tearing it apart. Anything else?
Oh, technically I had the bonus action hunter's mark, but I'm just gonna fucking drop it because that was a waste.
Okay. Well, you can move it to like someone else. Like you don't have to drop it.
Yeah.
It's a stealth block.
I'll just move it to that one, so that way I can hit it next time. And then, yep, that's it.
Okay, Ostos. Your friends are starting to be in trouble. Nadia's not looking good. Jenny's not looking good. They're both kind of staving off big parts of the horde there.
I'm going to go back over to Nadia and be like, good luck, and throw another acid blast at the ones on the ground over there.
I'm gonna move the music back to the creepy stuff.
So
Yeah.
both these zombies next,
I like
Both the
the
zombies.
creepy stuff.
What happens to them? What'd you do?
right next to Nadia, they need to make dexterity saving throws
Okay. What happens?
for acid splash.
Got it. Oops, I just did slam attacks. Like they're attacking for some reason. They both fail. Zombies
Big
suck at
numbers.
dexterity saving throws. They both take 2 damage, is that right?
Yes.
You'll laugh. That kills the one in the dress.
Perfect.
And so you smash it into her head, and then some of the acid falls onto the other one as well. Good kill. Anything
Okay,
else?
that's it. Oh,
Zerdos.
So I guess fresh to the scene, I see a tiny creature, which is the halfling. I'm not sure how well I can tell it's a halfling.
Talk
I
about
look
Trying to-
like a child.
Trying to just get a sense of like,
that. In the dark here, like it's hard. You just see something that's basically the shape
Yeah.
of a child.
I do have dark vision as a mole, but I don't know.
Yep. But the perception checks are still disadvantaged in dark,
Sure.
even for dark.
I
vision.
guess given the situation, can I tell who looks like they're
The
in
Dre
more-
look like they're in trouble. The lizard-looking folk.
okay? All right. Well, I'll move, I guess, to try and help.
And there's a prone one here that is you get advantage to attack if that matters to you.
Sure. I will, I guess, move over here.
Okay. So you swirl around the table and try to just smash it on the ground. Go ahead and roll an advantage attack. That's what I get for saying that they're crawling zombies.
Yeah,
Okay, that hits. That's a high number. That almost looks like a crit. And yeah, nice, good damage. You sort of smash into its head and you cave it in, but it's not dead yet. Okay. Anything else?
Nope. I guess that's it for me.
Beastie.
Oh,
You got
my
one
friend left
you
me.
got one that's still clamoring to grab a hold of you.
Yeah, I'm going to you know what? I'm gonna stab and bonk again.
Okay, stab and bonk. Go ahead and roll. I need you to confirm the critical failure for the dagger.
Okay. Do what?
Just roll again like you're attacking. The dagger's made of bone or stone, right?
It is. Yeah, it's a typical dagger. So
Okay. The bonk's gonna work, but I want to confirm the. Okay. So that confirms. So, your dagger will not break in its body.
woohoo!
And so you miss, and like it gets caught up in like their clothing or like belt or something, and you kind of yank it out. But the dagger's still intact. And then you are able to bonk for 7 damage.
No. Just 4.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I
The
was
plus
looking at the
3
other
is if I'd had advantage.
one. Well, yeah, I was actually looking at the dagger attack. That's why I was confused. Thank you.
Oh.
Yeah,
I
I'm all
see.
over the place. Well, that's what happens when Anyways, Nadia. You still got 2. Oh no, you got 1 zombie left that you're holding back. It is prone, so you get advantage on this attack, letting you do your sneak attack. You can thank Ostos for giving you 2 advantaged rolls in a row.
I'm going to throw flames.
Okay. Is the flame gonna fire backwards and hit like this one?
Yeah.
What's the distance on that flame blade?
I think it's like 5.
Yeah, so it will not be able to go anywhere then. So
Okay.
it'll basically just be a regular attack, which does hit. And goddamn, is that a lot? That's the maximum damage you could have basically done. And so
Fuck
even
this world.
though zombie was like basically fresh, you take the dagger and you just shove it right into. Is it a rapier? Oh, you take the
Yeah.
rapier and you just shove it right through the eye socket, and it just slumps onto the ground with a puff. Give me a Constitution saving throw.
Alright. On save. Oh shit.
You start choking on the spores, and for a minute your attack's going to be disadvantaged.
Okay.
So you are basically disadvantaged. I'm going to put a little thing on there for all your attack rolls.
Okay.
But good. Hey, you held off that side. Good job. Zombie turn. This one who got smashed is going to sort of like curl around on the ground and try to bite on you, Zerdos. and it's going to like you just sort of like pull your foot away. This thing is slow. And Jenny, one's gonna go after you
Mm-hmm.
and hit an 11. So you just sort of shove it out of the way again. And Beastie, one's going after you and hits a 19. We'll do 5 bludgeoning damage as it kind of like comes down and smashes onto you. So 5 damage bludgeoning on Beastie. And then Ostos, one tries to crawl onto you and bite you. And hits a 13. Does a 13 hit?
I am going to shift my bag towards it and cast shield, trying to
Right.
like make it look like I'm blocking with my bag.
Yeah, and so you like swing your bag like a granny at it, and like it seems more forceful than it should be, and knocks the creature aside.
Okay.
Beautiful technique. All
Thank
right.
you.
And then this one over here is just gonna crawl up you, Zerdos, but that's all it can do. Jenny.
So I keep forgetting about this, but can I do this to the zombies? Because they're 5 feet, right?
Yeah.
Cool. Because I keep forgetting about this. So I'm going.
As long as it's within range of as long as you've got 2 enemies next to you, and yeah.
Yeah.
Man,
So
that
I'm
would've been
going.
useful earlier.
That would have been if I had remembered.
You're badass. You just didn't. Yeah. Okay,
I just
never
didn't
mind.
know it. So I'm going to hit the one with the hunter's mark first with my spear,
Okay.
and then I'm just gonna turn around to the second one and hit it again and say, "You do not get to eat me or my friends."
Nice. And so you stab
Yes!
into the first one, and you rip the spear out, and it looks like it's on its last legs. And then you swing the spear over and slice its head off.
I got a natural 20, guys.
Yeah.
Yay!
Nice.
Woo!
This is the
And,
best day ever.
You made the other one have 1 HP.
Oh, and I forgot the hunter's mark damage is that.
Let me see. I thought that was for ranged, but I could be wrong. It might just be for anything. Hunter's mark, you-
Within range
with a weapon attack.
with a weapon attack.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you just do extra damage. And so actually you stab into one and into the back of the head and it kills it, and then swing over and slice off the other one's head, killing both at the same time. Yeah, Horde Breaker.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And then I'm just gonna turn to to Cameron's character and be like, "Hey, I'm Jenny."
Good introduction. All right, Ostos.
I'm going to see Jenny do this
Oh, I'm
very
so sorry.
excitedly.
Can I interrupt? I'm so sorry. Can I get 2 Constitution saving throws from Jenny and 1 from Zerdos?
Oof.
And 1 from Ostos.
Oh no.
Oof.
Oh no.
Excellent.
I'm so sorry. But, so Jenny, there's a lot of spores. You are disadvantaged on attacks now.
I got a natural 1.
Ostos,
no.
believe it or not, that does save.
Woo!
And Zerdos, that does not save. So you are choked by the that stuff as well. So I'm gonna just mark. Yeah, it's starting to get real spory in here.
I know from past experience that you should only huff the spores once.
There's so many spores,
It's
guys.
fun for a minute, and then but not good for combat. Okay, Ostos, what were you doing? Sorry.
Okay, no, it's all good. I will drop my concentration.
Okay.
I will yeet a acid splash bottle at these two. So dexterity
Okay.
saving throws.
And they both fail. As per
Perfect.
usual. And you get some sick ass damage this time.
Yes.
So it does not take them down, but you hear this like hot sizzling, and the smell is well, it's pretty nasty as they're burning.
I would probably see that if I wasn't running out the door, because I just saw Jenny take care of those two. She can take care of the rest, and I
you're
will
running?
run
Okay.
out.
There will be an attack opportunity. And
Oh, yes.
it critically fails. I'm going to say that it actually falls over as it tries to get you. And so this one's now prone. Okay. Zerdos. You've got one that's come up behind you after Jenny slaughtered the ones in front of you.
Yeah, I'm gonna just kind of shove past that and move around by these ones.
Okay, it's one attack of opportunity, and it critically fails. So it too is gonna like fall over as you basically basketball style break his ankles.
As it swings at me and misses, I'm gonna riposte him again. So
Okay.
I guess.
And this is advantage if you're. Is this the green one or the red one?
The one that I guess this guy.
Oh, you're gonna. Okay, you're gonna.
I'm gonna riposte attack that guy as
Go ahead,
my
go ahead,
reaction.
swing. This is gonna be hilarious if you hit. It's basically like you just don't get out of my way and smash his head out. Yep, that is in fact what you do. So as it lunges towards you, like you just feint one way and it falls to the ground, and then you golf swing it as you keep moving, basically smashing his head. What's the roll of the superiority die?
Oh,
It's gonna make or break whether or not you
okay.
kill it.
Oh, woof. That is like
1 point shy. It's while devastating to its brain matter, it's not completely separated yet. And then you go over to there's one that's prone and there's one that's in the red dress. Which one do you go for?
I'm actually gonna go for the one in the red dress just because it looks.
Can you give me a swing? I love this repose thing. It's cool narratively. I love anything
I like
that's narratively cool. Okay, that will hit. Yeah, who needs advantage against zombies? And does 9 damage. Almost
I'm also
smashing and battering into a corpse.
I'm also going to use another superiority dice to make a trip attack against it. So it has to make a DC 13 saving throw.
What kind
or
of
fall.
saving?
Here,
Dex,
let me.
is it con,
It's
strength?
strength. Sorry.
Okay.
Uh,
It fails, and so as you come by, you smash it into the. I'm gonna say what you actually do is you clothesline this thing with a weapon, and it just smashes into the ground. Okay, pretty much like all the zombies are on the ground right now. Yeah, all the living zombies are on the ground.
oh, and I guess I need to also do the dice damage for that.
Does Trip do any damage?
Yeah.
Oh, neat. Go ahead and roll it.
Yep.
Yeah, it's dead before it hits the ground. So you smash it, and like its whole face just caves backwards into the rest of the skull, and it's dead before it even hits the floor. Neat. Beastie. There's one prone next to you and one across the table.
Yeah.
Y'all are strutting your stuff this fight.
I am going. What? I'm just gonna close that. I keep opening my Roll20 character sheet, even though D&D Beyond is right there.
Yeah.
It's habit.
I'll start deleting
It
these
is.
sheets. One day I'm gonna delete these sheets, just so y'all know.
I'm going to. It's prone, right?
Yep. You get
I'm gonna
advantage.
try and thorn whip at it, see if I can like wrap around its head and rip it off.
Sure. And I have like a thing where even though Thorn Whip is a ranged attack and range have disadvantage against prone, if you're next to somebody, I remove that penalty because it doesn't make sense to me. You're basically shooting someone on the floor. So you have advantage still. You get 24. You do 6 piercing, and so you throw your arm out. And it sort of extends into this vine, and then you wrap it around and then sling it backwards, and the body sort of like twirls as he gets ripped up by these thorns. He's not dead yet, however. Okay. Anything else?
How hurt does everyone else look?
The tray looked pretty bad.
Like,
I
lower
got bits
than a
missing.
third?
I got bits missing
From a
from
scale
me.
of 0 to 31, how does Jenny look? Is that what you're asking?
No, it's
right?
more like on a like
An 11.
under half. Is she bloodied? Is she?
Yeah, they look like when I say
So
they
she's
look
at like
pretty
a
bad.
third.
When I say they look pretty bad, like you can trust that I'm talking about bloodied or worse.
Okay, I'm gonna bonus action healing word on Jenny since she's the closest.
Okay.
So
4 HP for Jenny. Jenny, go ahead and give yourself 4 HP back.
Thank you.
Okay. And that's all from Beastie, I imagine.
Yeah.
Nadia. Feeling like shit, but
Yeah,
still
she's gonna
standing.
stagger over here.
Okay, and you got advantage against that one,
Yep.
thanks to the prone.
Yep.
The music's running, right? I didn't minimize. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's gonna tear the fuck out of it. So you just stand over it and just drive your rapier through its ear, and it stops moving.
Yeah, she's panting really heavily.
Okay.
Looking at Zerdo.
We got one zombie left, and it's prone. So all I can do is get over to Jenny, but that's about it. Jenny, it's your turn.
I'm just gonna stab it and cough terribly while I do it.
How do you want to do
I
this?
healed you.
Oh, that hit?
Spores.
Yeah, she's still bloody.
I know. I'm just saying, like, Beastie's
Yeah.
just like ungrateful.
Nadia looks even worse.
I'm
Coughing 'cause of
okay.
spores, okay.
Okay, so how do you want to do this, Jenny?
I just want to like kick it over and then just like stab it in the face until it's dead, pretty much.
You do, brutally. And so, with several stabs, a few of the last ones being completely unnecessary,
Yeah.
that spells the last of the zombies here. And what you're left with is this peculiar mole individual standing before you, who's also helped you slay these zombies.
I think he would just be looking at this group of people and be like, ah, shit. Who the hell are you all? He is about 6'6".
I climb him.
Beastie, he's not a tree.
Yes,
I
he
think
is.
I would just pick up this halfling and maybe try and peel it off of myself. And,
I'm
just
sitting
be,
on that shoulder.
Okay, I've never wanted to do this, but it sounds like it's gonna be his athletics versus like your acrobatics or athletics, Calrona, on whether or not she gets shoulder command. It comes down to this.
Aww.
Yeah, so when you attempt to climb, you feel this like immense strength as he just peels you off like you're a bug, and places you gently, I assume gently, back onto the floor.
Yeah.
He rolled a 22.
Beastie is pouting. She
Can
wants
Zert-
up.
And Cameron, I know you wanted to possibly know about this. Go ahead and take a disadvantaged nature check, because it's unlikely that you know about these folk, but I'm giving you a chance.
Oh, wow.
That you might have.
It's a surprising roll for how bad I am at it.
That is not bad at all for -1 and disadvantage.
Oh
Jesus.
God!
Yeah, you have. So, I'm not going to say that you know that this one's a halfling. All I'm going to say is that in general, you have heard of halflings. You've heard of the savage halflings beyond. You know, it's like almost like a folktale, like the savage halflings of Beyond the Ringing Mountains, and how they're like people eaters. And like you've only heard bad things, like how they eat people and they don't know how to talk, and like, you know, they wear bones as jewelry to scare their enemies, and like all that kind of talk.
Speaking of, since he won't let me climb him, I'm gonna start dejectedly checking the corpses, going, none of the meat is good!
Yeah, that might tip you
And
off
I'm gonna
for
kick
those.
them.
Since you're searching first, Kelrona,
Yep.
You see that between them there's about 12 bits on the zombie.
Woohoo!
We're just adventurers, wanderers checking out the city. I'm Hostos, and your name?
My name is Zerdos. I've been in the city for a little while. You have to there's lots of these dead around. You have to be careful. You have to be quiet. And they're slow, but they're tenacious. So they got it. I bet this is the this inn I've been sort of hiding out in. When I was foraging and came back, they had sort of infested it again. So I was clearing it out, trying to do it, a room at a time. But
This is a room.
You live in Yaramuke?
yes, yeah, I've been living here.
Have you seen the gift be delivered before?
I have.
What was it
Okay, now
like?
now he has my attention.
Yeah, it's like it's fucking question time. I predicted this would happen, Cameron. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm
So
I'm just gonna interrupt and like say that Jenny doesn't care, and she's gonna rub her shoulder and say, "I'm Jenny. Does your arm hurt? My arm always hurts after a fight. Do you know if there's any ale around or any drinks around?" And then she's just gonna go start searching the bar while everybody else is talking.
speaking of how bad she and Nadia look, I'm going to should we like take a short rest here while we're questioning Zerdos?
That's for the party. You guys can do whatever you want.
Everyone?
I mean, I am down.
So, okay. I'm going to move to Nadia and like rest a hand on her and use my healing touch.
6 points, Nadia.
Okay.
To
because
answer,
that does
there's a
not-
question asked, and I want to answer it, if it's okay. So, she said, is there any ale around here in Zerdos? You know, and Jenny, after looking, you find out that the ale is long gone.
yeah, this place is sadly dry. About all I can offer if you're really looking to mess yourself up is there's some fruit nearby, and it starts to spoil pretty quickly. There's a brief period where it has fermented a bit. Beyond that, it goes pretty toxic pretty quickly. So
Additionally, Zerdos, you know that there is a thin mug made from iron that you've kind of stowed a little bit behind things at the bar.
right.
I'm just gonna sit cross-legged on the table and say, "No, I'm good."
So yeah, so I guess welcome to my home. Thanks for the help clearing out the trash. Usually I wouldn't try and fight these all. I would just try and make some noise and get them to chase me out of here because they're pretty dumb. But yeah, if I'm not careful, they'll find their way in. I don't know what attracts them, but yeah, they're all over this place, so you got to be pretty careful.
Okay.
Well, we are planning on going around the city a bit, mainly to the crater and perhaps elsewhere. Could you guide us over there? And you said you saw the gift before. Is it kind of gesturing to the building? Is it safe here when everything happens?
Let me know if
I-
you need, some knowledge from the DM, by the way.
I have seen where the gift gets delivered to, and yeah, I managed to get away from it before they were delivered. So I do know where the crater is that the gift is taken. I know some other spots around the city that I would recommend that you avoid. There's lots of these undead. There's the plants. You saw the the spores that come off of the plants seem to coexist with the dead. And yeah, there's one area that's kind of got a fog over it that seems infested, and just something's not right about it. That's kind of near where the fruit trees are, but that's as close as I like to go.
Would you be willing to be a guide through the city? Look towards the others. Sure, we wouldn't mind having such a formidable guide.
Yay, tank.
I mean, it is. I mean, it's better to know where we're going instead of getting lost and getting in trouble.
I'm going to hold up a handful of bits I rifled out of the pockets of these things and go, I can pay you.
I will agree. It's dangerous to go alone. I could use some strong companions.
I'm just gonna look at him and say, "Why? What's wrong with you?"
Honestly, I've been living here, but I'm also kind of stuck here. I haven't really been able to gather the provisions to consider a trip out of this town. So it's kind of where I've been holed up. So if there's a opportunity to find a way out of here, I could definitely like to take it.
So DM, watch it real quick.
Yes.
Alex, extra provisions that were on Frank's desk.
Yes, whatever Alec had personally is gone. But if he bought provisions for like the group, that's fine. But I will probably take a piece off of Francesca that represented Alex.
Okay.
In fact, I'll go ahead and do that now while you guys talk. You can keep going. Make sure not to have Francesca open. I'm about to manage her. Oh, it looks like I already deleted her.
Yep.
Okay.
She's on.
So it's already done. Yeah, the stuff you guys have on her is fine.
Yeah. I was just gonna say to Zergos, that well, it's always good to have a group together, especially with this gift going around.
I think we probably could round together enough provisions to.
Are you all from the gift? What brought you here? Has it been that long?
BC is going to be very grumpy at the mention of the gift.
We arrived with them.
Are you slavers?
Definitely
No.
not. Like, immediate offense.
The whole group gives like a very resounding no.
You now have an angry 6-year-old like glaring at you.
At the question, he almost subconsciously reaches up to the back of his neck and just rubs. He's got a thick leather torque around his neck, but he kind of almost subconsciously rubs the back of his neck.
Yeah, Beastie more or less does the same while glaring. You can't see much over her hood and the wild mane of hair anyway, but she also is like, how dare you?
At that
the table, I do think we should like short rest while we're doing the talking.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We can.
So if you guys would like a short rest, remember no HP back. I don't think that happens anyways for short rest. It's a long one. You can use
only
your hit die.
hit die, yeah.
Yep, you can use your hit die.
Could I
And
also...
like I think superiority dice come back on short rest. Is that right? And you feel better again. And you've also had a short rest. It's up to you how you guys want to proceed.
you what are you looking for specifically in the city?
I'm looking for some mushrooms within the crater, and there are some jazz halls that have created problems in the past that we're trying to seek out here. Jazz hall are like cobalt, kind
Yeah.
of silver. Is there
I know where the crater is, but I try and stay away from it. It almost feels like the dead of the city are coming out of the crater area.
You're
many,
muted,
just
it sounds like you're muted, Calron, unless you just mouthed those words.
And headset. But we have to go to the crater.
No, we don't.
Yes, we do.
We did our job.
I-
We don't have to go
Nope.
back there.
Nope.
I really need something from there.
We gotta go to the crater because I gotta look for Kagi.
For who?
Don't worry about it.
We could help you look if we know what you're looking for.
He's a half giant and his name is Cog.
Oh, you're
It's
looking
not
for.
somewhere I've wanted to go by myself, but I think with enough of a group, we would be safe.
Plus, I mean,
Ish.
we know Calverick and Belladonna will probably let us in if Astos. Bella Luna is probably was gonna be with us, or gonna be there, so we can ask.
Zerdos, can I actually, can everybody deafen themselves except Zerdos?
Yeah. Hold on.
'Kay.
Just a sec.
Drop the wrong name.
I got the message.
We.
So much
How far away is
intrigue.
How far away is the gift? We can't be near the crater when it's delivered. It's not safe.
About a day, so.
A day and a half.
Quick.
We could try and go there now, or we have to wait until after.
No, we have to go before, because after they'll all be gone.
Well, we can't be there when the gift gets there.
DM question.
Mhm.
In the wording of the gift, like, what does it specify?
The gift is the number of people that are sacrificed. The gift is a sacrifice of life.
Does it specify that they have to be, like, living life? What about undead life?
They have to have living life.
Are the plant things considered living?
Have to be like people.
No way around it.
What about animals? Animals are living.
But
Like
important
the
distinction,
kind of people you would see. in cities.
Yeah.
Okay.
important distinction is that the gift being brought from Rom would be different than the people being brought here. So if whoever she's looking for is from a different city, they're probably coming from a different direction. They might get her a different.
The person I'm looking for is coming from here.
Oscos is not saying anything that aloud. I'm just theorizing out loud. Or
Yeah.
Claire.
So BC
There
would
hasn't-
say
There hasn't been a gift delivered yet. I can be certain of that.
You do know, Zerdos, it's all at once. So like at some point, the gifts of different cities gather together. It's all done at once.
Gotcha.
so we gotta find the one from Tyr.
Well, if it's anything like the one from Rama, they're gonna have a lot of Templars there. A lot of Templars.
That's okay. We need a Templar. 'Cause if Cog is there, then we have to replace him with someone from Tyr.
Is there any way that we could sneak in and pretend to be part of the gift? I mean, I could hide my dagger easily enough, sneak in, let some people go, and then do it again a few hours later, something like that.
We can't do it in the. We have to. If you. This is some memories. I came here in the gift a year ago, and we were assailed by raiders along the way. That's how I got out. But there are a lot of Templars. We could raid the gift, but it's gonna be hard, and it has to be before they get to the city.
I am not a good fighter, and Templars are very good fighters, and I'm just slightly uncomfortable.
That's why we just need to sneak around them.
So what you've seen, Heatherly, is it's basically it's not like a loosely guarded camp. It's
I know.
It's a heavily guarded death march.
I know.
So it's there's not really like a place to like sneak in. There's not a place to sneak out.
Yeah, she's just like basically like muttering to herself, thinking out loud. So like if anyone replies to her, she's like not even listening. She's like, of course, blah blah blah.
I just make sure as a DM to give you all the knowledge.
No worries. No, I'm just thinking she's like muttering to herself. Of course, they're really heavily guarded. So that doesn't work. Damn it.
If we were to get in unseen, he is a half giant. They are kind of large to get out unseen. I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Cast shrink person.
Too bad there's no way to get rid of that crater, right, Astos? And I'll just nudge him on the shoulder.
Yeah, that'd be convenient.
Is a shrunken half giant just basically a dumb person?
Yeah, yes.
A half giant
Um,
would likely be a valuable target for slave raiders. Likely to be guarded more closely.
Well, perhaps we go to the crater, we get what we need, and perhaps while we're out there, we might see something that might change our mind that we do something. But as it stands right now, I don't think it's possible. Not discounting the idea, but I don't want to become an extra gift member. So,
as you're talking, can I get perception checks from all of you?
yep.
Oh, I forgot to ask. It's been a long week. Do we still have disadvantage because of the spores?
Nope.
Okay.
That's over in 1 minute. Gyarados, you will catch
This is
it.
stupid.
I ain't noticing shit.
Where do you get the rolls or?
It's in the Beyond 20 button extension thing.
Oh.
That would explain why I couldn't find it.
I see people like rolling the digital dice. Okay. Zerdos. You see a little, just a tiny flutter of movement outside the window, and you realize it's actually like on the kind of the sill outside, and it's a lizard just peering in and looking at you. It's a little
don't
like
notice
lizard
that.
like this big, and it's like going. And but it's like it's making like a lot of eye contact for a lizard, and is it at the moment like it notices that you see it, it like pops away.
And this is not a lizard that a type of lizard that I've typically seen around here in the last year or so. Is this?
It's it looks like a common type of lizard, just sort of like
Okay.
an uncommon kind of behavior.
Did anyone else see that lizard? I swear it was looking at me.
I'm going to look at both Jenny and Nadia and go, yeah, they do that.
No, not. It's a tiny lizard on the windowsill. It was staring at me like it was watching me.
Maybe it
They're
was
not-
trying to paint you like a French girl.
I'm going to run out and inspect the windowsill because I like tiny creatures. And in Druidic, I'm going to be like, here, lizard, 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 lizard.
I'll let you potentially see it from a distance. Give me a disadvantage perception.
I'm just gonna say to Zerdos that you probably just got hit too hard.
You come out and you say, here, lizard, 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 but you don't see a lizard.
I'll say back to that. I didn't get hit at all.
Oh. Well, good for you. And she'll just.
You son of a bitch.
So, above the table,
gonna
did
go
anyone
walk
else
away.
heal during the short rest with their hit dice, or is everyone still super fucked up?
I healed, but I'm not at full health, and I'm not using the rest of my hit dice just in case. So
I'm looking good.
Okay.
I'm
just
okay.
like, are you guys still looking like garbage? Do I have to?
I'm not dying terribly, if that helps. I'm gonna be
Okay.
fine.
As long as you look okay, you're fine.
I'm gonna be fine. I have an emergency.
If you go down, I can heal you.
No, I'm fine. I have an emergency healing potion out of character. Saying that.
Just wanted to make sure you guys didn't still look like crap.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm going to kind of pout and then come back inside and go, I didn't see a lizard.
Strange. No, I've not seen one that's not skittish before. They're usually pretty tasty.
DM would since it is a very very low level spell, would I be familiar with familiar at all?
You'd be familiar with familiars, but since you haven't seen it, you don't necessarily know if it's a familiar or not. But like it could be familiar behavior. Could be something else.
It's common enough. I'm gonna reason to get suspicions like that.
Yeah, I mean, you could think like if there's a creature acting in an unnatural way that, like you've heard of like people using creatures for different purposes, like as a familiar or something like that.
Okay. Just a lizard.
This was unnatural. I worry that somebody or something just knows that we're in here. Perhaps it's time to find somewhere else to hole up or get moving.
Well, this lizard was. How long have you been here? A year, you said?
Yeah.
And this lizard was distinctly different than anyone you've seen before, or acted differently.
I've seen that type of lizard. I've eaten that type of lizard. This one was looking at me. It was watching. It wasn't afraid. It wasn't trying to hide. It was, they don't just sit on a window ledge looking at people. Something was weird.
Well, as the Templars say, back in Rom, sometimes those dastardly folk that practice the foul magics use them as slaves and minions, taking them as hostage. So it might have been one of those evil folk looking in on us.
As I mentioned, I did hear some people passing through the town, so there's definitely someone else in the area. And you said you were the ranging ahead of your group, so no idea who they are.
Well, do you know what area that they were headed in, or what direction? Because I think that they might be aligned. That Jaws Hall we are looking for is one of these dastardly folk.
That's a good question. I don't recall, DM, if there was somewhere specific that I noticed that these people were passing.
They headed sort of kind of towards the crater.
Seedink! I'm sorry, I was totally brain farting with his name.
Who?
Almighty sea dick.
Who? So confused.
Last time my players thought, because I was using a voice changer, they thought I was saying sea dick. But it is sea dink, yes.
Sea dink. Yeah, it was. I mean, they were moving towards the crater area, but like I said, I tried not to get too close.
I'll look towards Jenny and be like, well, we could probably take care of that, couldn't we?
Yeah, probably. No idea?
Nadia just looks out of it.
So,
Oh yeah,
we've got-
I'm gonna go outside and get my chest and plop it down on the ground, and then point at Zerdos and go, "Can you smash this?" My camera's up there. You. Do the smashing.
Yeah, I probably can. Look at the chest. Does it look like I could just pry it open, or I'm definitely happy to whack it with my hammer, but
as you try to open it, it seems like the mechanism is jammed, or maybe just deteriorated, and so smashing, prying, you could try either, but I want an athletics. You tell me what you're doing.
Um, and what is the chest made of?
It's like a sturdy wood.
Okay. Yeah, I'll use my hand axe to just try and like chop uh, chop into the area where the hinges are. See if I can just kind of break that.
Give me an athletics, please. Cool. Okay. So it will take you a while, but the hand axe is a pretty good tool for that job, and so like after a few minutes, you kind of eventually crack it open.
Yay!
And
I'm gonna scuttle around to the front and like.
So once I've cracked the hinges, I'll just kind of like dig in there and just pry it apart.
Yeah, and as you pry it
Check him.
apart, ceramic goes flying everywhere. And
Whoops.
there are 113 ceramic, 113 bits on the
Oh,
ground.
okay.
Money!
So you can put that. And not very
I
good.
believe. Actually, because I found 12 from the thing. So, 125 divided by 5.
Oh, that's 25. Excellent. So each of you get 25 bits if you split it evenly.
Yeah.
If you
So
don't, that's fine.
I will begrudgingly split it evenly and go this pile for you, and this pile for you, and this pile for me, and everyone can have 25, even the new guy.
And bits are, if you're adding bits for the first time, because you're new to this game, bits are basically silver.
Okay.
You ever forget in the party treasure handout, you aren't part of it yet. It has a reminder.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Sweet.
It's very helpful.
Party treasure, yeah, gives you the idea of what you got there. So, oh, and we saw some bits left over in a book. All right, so you've got 2 points of interest, maybe 3. Crater, the tower, the foggy area. Am I missing anything?
I could use a trip past the fir trees to kind of get some refreshment there. I don't have a source of water here, so that's kind of what I've been subsisting on.
Oh.
But those are near the. They're about as close to that foggy area as I like to go. Yeah.
Foggy area is closer, much closer than the crater and the tower. The tower and the crater are pretty close to each other. Foggy area is somewhere in between where you are and the crater.
It's on the way, in a sense.
Yeah, well, Zerdos knows the way. You guys actually don't know that as well, but since you have him as a guide.
And then where was the tower?
Did we...
Tower is very close to the crater. It's basically like an overlook to the center of the city. And
Okay.
that happens to be the crater.
I believe we were just kind of dragging Francesca along, like, behind us, right? And kind of tying her up outside.
Unless
Okay.
unless I say like that she could be in danger, or that you sense danger for Francesca, I kind of just.
Okay, then I'm gonna pop off outside and like pull a full water skin of mine off of Francesca and toss it to Zerdos. Which
Take it thankfully and drink conservatively of it and pass it back.
I believe it's so it's about half the size of a standard water skin because I'm small.
So he'll need another to be sated for today, or.
I will, seeing that, I will also head out there. I will grab 2, bringing my total down to 4 left on there, but I will bring 2 and get them to him. I brought a little extra, so it kind of works out, and I'll hand you 2 water skins. And I'll minus them.
Yeah. No, the water skin is like tiny half-size child water skin, and that was for you to keep. water skin. It weighs 2 pounds.
Thank you. It should be conservative with this. There isn't a good source of water. Like I said, the fruit, you can subsist on it. It starts to spoil almost immediately, so it's not something you can travel with. So just be aware that if we need supplies to get out of here, it's that's going to be a concern.
Let's get heading over there. Get some rations on the way that I find useful.
Plus, of course, if there's animals nearby, I can always hunt something and have Beastie cook it, right?
Why would I ruin it by well, I do cook some.
I mean, some of us, and I kind of nudge at Astos. I'm like, some of us enjoy cooked meats, and some of us don't.
No, that's fair. Beastie cooks
So
the human haunch.
Yes.
So
we'll, and then I begin to explain as we're walking out the door how we're gonna separate in half, and then you get to have some of it that's whatever you want it to make, and then the other half is however we want it. That way we all get a dish. Basically explaining how meals.
Golem moment of
Yeah.
Beastie going, give it to us raw and wriggling.
It's like, no, like, even I like it cooked sometimes, okay?
And so, as you're kind of traveling along towards any one of those points of interest, since they all kind of ride along the same path, the area begins to become more and more wild. Yeah, this is the one.
As it becomes more and more wild, I keep my eye out for peculiar plants-wise, etc.
Sure. And I'm gonna move you.
I'm gonna keep my eye out for that lizard, and I'm going to, as we kind of walk along, occasionally do essentially what you would do trying to get a cat to befriend you, where you're like, here, lizard, in Druidic, because he said it was acting weird, and the last time an animal acted or looked weird, I got to talk to an Earthlu, and that was cool.
That
Yeah,
think,
and I'm just,
pretty cool.
I'm just,
Zerdos would be
Oh, go
a
ahead.
little annoyed with the kind of giving a little bit of a shh as we're trying to move through this wild area that we try not to draw the attention of the dead as we're moving. So,
mhm.
And so you find yourselves in this area that becomes actually very green, strangely enough. Did we just lose somebody?
Looks like Ostos.
Okay, let's wait just a moment. Go ahead.
No worries. I was just gonna say that I might just check out if because you said it's wild, like if there's anything like impeding our,
Phone call.
if there's anything like impeding our path or whatever, I'd definitely try to get rid of it.
Sure. Yep. You're kind of on this it's kind of hard to see, but you're on this sort of path. Did I pull you over? Yes, I did. You're
Yes.
sort of on this pathway, and the reason why I've revealed so little is because the fog has become. Oh, here's Ostos. The fog has become essentially so thick that you barely can see ahead. And as you're traveling along, it becomes almost impossibly green. And as you're kind of walking along, you feel that the ground is actually slightly damp. And then hits the fog. And you feel this sort of dampness in the air that you've never felt before.
Is there grass?
There's grass everywhere. There's
I'm
vines
going to
everywhere.
roll in the grass like
I
a
was going to
dog.
say, naughty how I was going to do the same thing.
It feels wonderful. It feels like home almost, Kelron, except that it's much warmer and humid here. But you do kind of remember the grasses of the mountain tundra. of the mountain.
I'm going to roll in the grass and maybe have a small cry to myself.
That's adorable. And yeah, and this, like, almost none of you, likely none of you, have seen, except for one, have seen a place so lush with life. It feels like you're just on a completely different planet altogether. And as you're walking along, you a lizard crosses your path on the road, and it goes up to you, not but 5 or 10 feet away, given the depth of this fog. It sort of emerges out its little form, just looking at you. And then, in one swift noise, it goes, and you hear this voice, "Go away."
Oh.
Oh no.
Is it speaking in common?
Yes. And with that, it darts off to the east.
Well, there goes Sarah.
Tarv is inspired by this character that I made a year or two ago.
Oh, okay.
So this character came first before Sarah.
I'm just gonna blink and say, and turn my head and say, did that lizard didn't talk, right?
Having all the self-control of a toddler, I'm going to dart after it.
Okay. So show me some movement.
You said it darted off to the east, which
Yes.
would be...
To the right.
Yep.
Okay. Oops, that's the wrong button. And so you're just sort of pushing out ahead.
Yep.
And to the right, you see a completely overgrown, ruined building, completely taken over by life. You see these vines just sort of impossibly grasping onto this house, as if it was hostile to the civilization nearby. And the path continues.
As I pass by, I'm just gonna look at the vines and go, mood.
And as you get closer and closer to this sort of center area, there's 2 pathways, and you hear this just sort of, and realize you're stepping in mud.
I'm going to roll around in it
You get
like a
dirty as
happy
hell.
puppy.
Yeah, you
Just-
get dirty as hell.
Mud! I'm like a toddler.
And before you are these, you notice that there's a barrier, and you kind of peer, looking at the barrier. Some of the fog, there's like no fog behind this barrier. Here, right in front of your face, is a small house that appears to be in better condition than the others nearby.
Does it have vines, like, trying to rip it apart as well?
No. The doors are reinforced with fresher looking wood that almost seem to be like living wood, as if it just formed like a tree trunk formed in the place of the door. And you see these sort of thick shutters of vines that protect the windows.
I am completely covered in mud now, by the way. I am basically a mud ball.
Yeah.
And I'm going to come up to... I guess that's like a gate, or like an open space.
Yeah, and at the opened gate, you see these 2 massive trees. As you go towards the gate, both trees sort of just lurch over you, as if they are looking down. And you
Just
see
shout
the
out.
lizard. You see the lizard perched upon the sort of brick wall, or not brick wall, the stone wall. The stone itself doesn't look like it was laid. It looks like it emerged from the earth as like sheer granite or something.
Gonna shout
In
peace.
Druidic, I'm just gonna go... Tree!
And as you say that, as you say in Druidic trees, the trees, from bending down towards you, they pull back upright, as if admitting passage. And you see there's what looks like a boiling pot there. We'll say that's an empty pot for now.
Okay, I'm slightly saddened that the trees did not greet me, but I'm gonna give them both a pat as I walk past
Sure. You get the sense that they're guardians.
and call out like, "Hello."
And the lizard looks like at this point you get close and just darts away as if it never had any intelligence. And you hear from inside the house. Don't kill this one.
Hearing a voice, I'm going to call out behind me and go, guys, I hear
Shit.
people.
Are you
And
done
I'm
running?
gonna- No,
And
I'm
you-
gonna dart up
You
to the
actually
door.
have to you actually are able to follow her only by her voice, and the pathway because the fog is still so incredibly thick. And you see the trees as you approach, they sort of bend down over you in this very sort of, I mean, they're like 20 feet tall, this sort of very menacing kind of shadow that they
I'm
display over you.
gonna step aside. Go
I'm
right
gonna
ahead, guy.
I'm gonna go and pat each of the trees and go, they're nice, I promise.
And as you do so, they curl back upwards.
Look, guys,
Yes.
I found friends.
Seeing that open up, I'll walk through the trees and see if I'm still alive or not.
Even as you do so, the trees seem to almost twist around as if they're watching you in some kind of way. And you hear the groan of bark and just as they're sort of moving about. And you see even some of the roots that they're on start to slide.
Guys, look, the trees. And I'm going to be a muddy hug on the tree.
These trees are so full of life, you've hardly seen anything like it. They're just bright with these heavy greens, thick with vines and all kinds of greenery on them. Ostos, this is a pretty shocking to you, really.
Yes, and do I notice any similarities with the wood that this is made out of and a dagger?
They look similarities with the dagger you were talking about?
Yes, my mother's.
No.
Okay.
Different kind of wood. That
Okay.
said,
Still.
these are impressive and lively. It's not the same kind of brown dead tree that you've seen before. Not the sort of cactus you see, but these sort of just lush, vulnerable-looking brush. Vulnerable compared to what you've seen before, where normally it's cactus, piney and hard. And nearby, to Zerdos' credit, you see some fruitful trees, or some fruitful brush, bearing this sort of bright red fruit.
Very interesting. Moving over to look at them, not pick them, but at least inspect them.
They have a alluring smell to them, and they look ripe for picking.
Are these? Do you know if these are good?
Oh.
You seem to.
I'm going to also just ask the tree if they're good. In Druidic. Just if we can eat them.
You see the tree sort of twisting about slightly idly. You're not sure they can speak back.
I've been eating these for a year. They're refreshing, but they spoil quickly. So if you're gonna eat one, pick it and eat it fresh.
I'm gonna just kind of shrug and go, I wouldn't eat these ones. I think they belong to the tree person.
In Zerdos, you've seen some out on the outskirts. This one's very close to this house. I don't want to say
Yeah.
the name.
I mean,
I'm going to knock on the door, like, very reverently, since it looks like it was kind of grown there instead of hewn.
You knock on it, and you know this is, and you hear, "No." I know everybody's enjoying this because of Sarev.
so much. I'm just gonna head over.
I think there's a window, actually. I don't know where the door is.
Yeah, so the door will say
Here?
here. Yeah, where you just pinged. And the
Okay.
window,
There we
although
go.
heavily shuttered and not able to see inside, is here and here.
Yeah, I just
But there-
realized I was
there's, like,
probably at a
vines that-
window.
Yeah, there's like interlocked vines. That seem to purposefully cover the windows. And the whole house is sort of mossed over.
I'm just gonna knock again and go, please?
And in the same voice you heard before, "Go away."
While she's doing that, I'm going to walk over to Astos and say, I mean, it's just one, right? It's not gonna matter.
Does it change anything that I was saying this in Druidic?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, so
You
I,
gotta be explicit there.
Oh,
sorry, yeah. The whole time I've been
My
talking
bad.
to the tree and to this door in Druidic. Sorry.
So when you say knock knock and then you say, what was it? Let me in, or can I come in, or is there anybody there? What'd you say?
I just knocked the first time, but when they said no, the second time I knocked and said, please?
And there's like a long pause. It gets a little awkward. And then you hear him say, "For 1 minute." And the door, you see the wood just sort of pulls backwards. Or I should say pulls forwards. Like it's this little 5-foot hallway of living wood. Sort of peels away. And it sort of shines some light into this very dark place. And
I'm
inside,
gonna-
it's not as fancy or nice looking inside. It's really just like a furnitureless, dirty, mud track hut.
Okay, I'm gonna go just inside the door, and I'm gonna, like, as I do, pat the door, like,
And,
reverently. So
It
much
feels
wood.
warm.
So pretty.
Yeah, it feels a little warm, strangely enough.
And I'm gonna, like, peer in, and be like, in Druidic, hello?
And out from the corner, you see this creature. It's a tall, lean, draconic being with, it's sort of similar looking to Genevieve and Nadia, except he has like these mottled, uneven scales. His spine is bent such that the creature stands at a low hunch. He's got this sort of thin tail and jagged claws. He's got this long neck that ends at a small, draconic, almost beak-like head. He looks a little bit like a Dre reject. And he cringes a little bit at the light that pours in, scuffling slightly away from it. He stares at you, his sort of third eyelids clicking occasionally side to side, and doesn't say any words, just looks at you,
Okay.
expecting you to speak first.
In Druidic, I'm going to say, hi. Do you live here? Do you know the trees are awesome?
Those are these trees. The others. Come inside.
Okay, I'm gonna like peek out the door and be like, guys, come here, look, I found a friend.
Sure. I was gonna ask. I was
I
going
don't
to.
have like a token for him. This is just, it is what it
Don't
is.
worry. I was going to take one of the fruits from the bush. Do I have to roll stealth for that? Because I said I was gonna take it
If you were
sneakily.
trying to do it sneakily, then go ahead.
Oh, this will be fine.
I'm going to do my light trick as well, if it matters.
I
I
don't
mean,
know.
you feel like you did it pretty slyly.
Mm-hmm.
And what are you doing? You're creating light in the room?
The moss in the jar.
Oh,
The
okay,
light.
you're lighting that up. So as soon as you do that, the Dre like covers his eyes and says, "No, turn it off."
Nope, turn it off.
And it goes back to this sort of darkness. And do all of you come in?
Yes.
I came in.
And after that, you hear him mutter, "Close the door," and the door sort of folds inwards. It becomes apparent that like you can't leave until this thing wants you to. 'Cause it's a
Oh, no.
solid living oak. closing
I'm
the door.
perfectly okay with this.
I'm
He's
just gonna
sitting
reach
on-
out and like if there's a door handle, I'm just gonna reach out and see if I can try and open it.
Yeah, there's no handle.
Oh.
There's nothing.
Never
Um,
mind.
And what you see is like this sort of pathetic-looking creature. It looks something like I'm just gonna literally throw it onto the d20. Like he looks something like this.
Okay.
Interesting.
He's skinny.
Yeah, scrawny, kind of mottled,
Mm-hmm.
uneven looking. So
I'm gonna pull out a.
and he's over here. He's like at the far end looking at all of you.
I'm gonna pull out a dried piece of human that I have left over, like people jerky, and go to hand it to him.
He inspects it and sniffs it and says,
It's good. It's people. I carved it off myself.
"No,
Oh,
this one eats." And he looks over and there's like this dirty cloth and he unfolds it and it's like cactus flesh. And he looks
Oh.
back over, yeah, not quite Sarv. And he looks back over at you and says, what does it want? Why is it here?
We were following a lizard.
And he said,
He was doing the Bobby thing.
he, oh, and if you say that, then he seems like a light bulb goes in his head and says, "He's lizard."
Yeah. Him.
So they know to go away, but they come anyway.
Pretty much.
And he ponders and looks at you and pushes forward some cactus flesh for you to try.
Sorry to
Sure.
interrupt. Just the question is all this conversation happening in Druidic?
Druidic,
or,
yeah.
So I have no idea what's really being said.
No.
Hanging out in the corner.
That's a good point. And as he pushes forward the cactus flesh, he looks right over at Jenny and says, "She may have the fruit. she may only need to ask."
I'm gonna turn around and glare at Jenny and go, "Did you pick fruit off the bush?"
Jenny, it seems impossible that he knows this because he was not in line of sight.
Maybe. Hey, I'm hungry, okay? I haven't. Well, you know what? I haven't hunted anything in days because we were supposed to help some stupid Templars with some stupid raiders, okay? I only have like 1 days of rations left, okay? And I'll just take my apple out and it's like half eaten and I'll just eat it all and then I'm gonna throw the core on the floor.
You eat the fruit?
Yeah, I'm eating the whole thing and then I'm saying, do you have a
You gain 1
garbage?
hit point.
Oh, cool. Oh.
I'm gonna wrap my tail around the thing that she discarded, and I'm going to look at her and be like, pick up the trash.
No, I picked it up and I said, do you have a garbage? Basically.
And Maynard, no, not the name, sorry. He comes over and kind of grabs it with his claws, not caring that it's you had your mouth all over it, and says, "No trash. It is for planting."
Oh.
I'm
Well, I
gonna-
mean, it was.
He puts it in his like dirty robe pocket.
I mean,
appreciate him.
it was
I'm
really
also going
good,
to,
actually.
eat some of the cactus fruit he offered me and
Yeah.
thank him.
Yeah. I
It's
actually.
watery and kind of fleshy, and it can resolve your food and water rations for the day.
Would
Okay.
you?
And your water rations, it was juicy, Genevieve.
Mm.
Your water rations for the day, even though it wasn't a gallon of water, which is really what you need a day, you feel like refreshed, like you just drank all the water you ever need.
I'm gonna say, do you have any seeds that I could buy off of you, or trade?
Do about that.
Yeah, if you
What
want.
does it have?
I have this hunting trap.
You pull it out, I assume,
Mm-hmm.
looks it over, and like pulls it apart, and then pokes it and snaps, and he sort of backs off for a second, shocked.
It's
and
for
goes, it is for killing.
animals to eat. Okay, probably not your thing.
No.
I'm gonna pull out the spun bronze feather, and I'm going to offer it to him.
Oh, I have
The-
some
The
creature's
the
teeth.
bronze feather?
The special bronze feather from the Golden Erdlu.
I actually was going to offer the creature's teeth that I have.
Which two?
They're 4 teeth. They're from the. Oh my goodness! I said the wolf monsters. Goodness, I meant to look up the creature. The
Jakar?
Jakar, yeah. I meant to make necklaces out of them, but then I changed my mind.
And yeah, he pushes away the trap and says, "This one does not kill." And he looks at the teeth, kind of regards them strangely, and looks at the bronze feather, and that's actually quite a rare thing. And he looks over it, and looks at himself, and tries to poke the feather in his robe, and he's playing with the teeth, like trying to see if he can cut things with the teeth, or like pure utilitarian, uses of these things. And he looks back at his seed almost like regretfully, like he's getting the shit deal, and hands over a seed of this fruit. It says, "It blooms and gives one fruit. Then it dies and gives one seed."
But there's no way to get any more?
Yes.
No. It is a plant doomed for failure. It must be nurtured with magic. It is extinct.
I'm starting to feel a little guilty about the fact that I've been eating
You've
these
been eating
fruits.
them.
Just like toss them away.
Yeah. And he does actually give you a slight glare, Zerdos, like he knows what you've done. And he kind of backs into the corner and and looks at all of you and says, "What are you?" Looking at all of you. Even
Well,
curiously at you, Jenny and Nadia, as if like he doesn't know what you are either.
Well, we're the same, aren't we?
He looks at his scrawny arms, his mottled scales, some places missing scales, and he's, I mean, he doesn't see his own beak-like head. It's sort of like thin and weird looking compared to yours. And he says, "No."
Well, what? I'm a half elf. I'm Astos. What are you?
Today,
That's what.
from Gistenod.
And Nadia is going to point at Genevieve and herself. Same.
Ray one.
From Gistenod.
Yeah, do I know that name? I don't think I would,
You'll have to do
honestly.
history checks, but the Dre already automatically succeed.
Yep.
But this requires a substantial history check.
Mhm.
I don't expect you to make this.
Yeah, I don't expect I will.
Astos has heard something, which makes sense. He's read too many books.
Good damn.
Astos, you're not familiar with a Gistenol. You're familiar with the New Gistenol.
Okay.
New Gistenol is rumored to be buried somewhere, or I should say, it's sort of an underground city somewhere where Gistenol used to stand. Gistenol is a ruined city. A ruined above-ground city. Gistenol is
Interesting.
not New Gistenol. And you would know that difference.
Gotcha.
Why?
Do I know, like, if
why-
it was
why-
primarily...
Yes, I was gonna say why it's like why there's a New Gistenol and why there isn't a Gistenol. You would need to go even further into that knowledge. That's some real ancient history. you think.
So, like, primarily inhabited by Dre, or by other, or just all types of races, or...
Just remember, so you just read that like in a book
Correct.
somewhere, it would talk a little bit about New Gistenol, and then like there's a brief excerpt about like how New Gistenol is new because there used to be an old one that was destroyed,
Gotcha.
and then it would basically say for reasons unknown, in our records.
Okay.
Zerdos would, I guess, just look at him and say, "My name is Zerdos. I feel like I likely owe you for my survival. I've been subsisting off the fruit of your trees. I apologize if I was wasteful with them."
Do not apologize for surviving. But find water better.
Great.
And we promise the seed will not go to waste. It'll help all of us. We can take turns having a fruit.
It grows with very much care. 1 week.
Oh,
Without it, a month.
ouch. Okay.
You said, magic to nurture it. What kind of magic?
The one of your friend. As he points with a sort of, lanky, dagger-like finger at BC. You would require the druid craft cantrip. If you don't have it, you can't help
I
with
do
it.
not.
Aw.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
There is a higher level spell, plant growth. you would need to surge into just that plant.
Yeah.
That's like level 2 over. And so you've given a name, Zerdos, and it thinks for a moment and says, "This one is sorry." No, I'm just kidding. It's not sorry. This one is. Seemed to almost, like he almost forgot his name, that it was Nina.
So in Druidic, DC will introduce herself with her actual name, and in Common, she will introduce herself as DC.
Okay. And he sort of nods. And as you do that, he starts to like, he's listening. You can see he's starting to like manage other things. He's like cleaning some seed pit of like flesh, and then wrapping the cactus and that sort of thing.
And as us being as me and Lexi being Drays, would we know this name, or would we have to roll a
Minar,
history check?
Yeah, it sounds like a Geestinal name. Like it's got that little French hint to it.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even know that the D was silent until somewhat recently.
Yeah, but I mean, like, to know about him, would we have to roll a history check?
I don't think you can.
Oh, that's too bad.
What I mean is, like, there are sometimes things that are just too much to roll for.
Yeah, no, that's understandable.
Yeah. So
Depending on character
just based on the
background
name,
stuff.
yeah, just based on the name, you would recognize anything.
Yeah.
Sounds like a name from like a Geestinal, a new Geestinal name.
Yeah, no worries.
And he looks back at you after maybe like a moment of silence and says, "You kill the bad plants, the walking corpse, and for what?"
Oh, well, we were looking for some unique plants around the city, and some little kind of some jazz hall running around. I hope you weren't nurturing those plants either.
He called them bad plants, so I'm just going to say the bad plants take resources from the good plants. Why not kill them?
Nana does not object, but he wonders why they go through all the trouble. There is a plant. He looks at Astos. There is a plant this one wants. What is?
I forget. I think it's like the death. Or something. I can find it, but no.
Yeah, it's the
death.
corpse troom.
Corpse
Your
troom,
character would
okay.
know. And if I can remember it, Astos, the big brain dude he is, can definitely remember it. And Minar kind of thinks for a second and says, "Does not know name." And he looks to the ground and he places a claw on it. And you feel like the wood of the house start to shudder a bit. And like the vines sort of wave about. And you hear just a sway of the wind outside. And after a minute or so he opens his eyes and says, "It is in the place of death, on the body of a child that has passed."
Oh, well, that's dark. Just one.
A cluster.
I thank you very much for that. And, I didn't know you were from New Keystone Underground. I apologize for the light. It makes
He is
sense,
not
right?
from new.
Oh,
There is
well,
nothing new from Gistino.
so you're from the above Keystone. I thought it was destroyed.
How long have you been here, Minar?
The dragon has fed. Closes his eyes. The dragon has fed as many times as the tree has leaves. This one has been here for that long.
That's a lot.
It is always hungry.
Bad plants and the dead out of your home.
Say that again? I can.
How do you keep the bad plants and the dead out of your home?
The trees help. The vines help. They pull them underground. It feeds the trees. You walk on the grounds of tens of thousands of dead. It becomes green.
Lazar.
How does
You're on an Indian burial ground, y'all.
how does that pointing to the house structure around us? How does this stay living yet move like door over there?
He looks at you, kind of like he doesn't know how to answer it. He says, Menard and the wood have an agreement.
I'm going to pat the wood and be like, it's a friend.
They are all friends to Menard.
He gets it.
Jenny's just gonna look at the wood and say, but. And she's like, but. She's like trying to understand. She's like, but once it gets turned into a house, it's not alive anymore. She's like, the trees are alive, but it's not like the house is alive. It's wood. She knocks on it.
The tree
guess-
can take on more than one shape. It
I guess
grows
that's-
around Menard. It does not get cut.
I was just gonna say, I guess with a little bit of a carpentry background, I would probably notice that these
Yeah,
aren't
good point.
sawn
There's no
boards
seams.
or
There's no seams
or,
in this house. And you couldn't see that from the outside, that overgrown moss.
Mhm.
But when you look on the inside, there are no seams to the wood on this house. As if you are in a hollow house-sized tree.
That's really cool.
So, what did you just ask it for something? I asked those kind of get like a little flustered and confused.
Yeah.
I'm kind of gonna turn back to Astros and be like, I mean, I asked the trees to let you in.
And Minar scratches his head and says, Minar helps it live. They die without the dead ones. They live with. Minar guides the misguided dead to feed the trees. That is the agreement.
Interesting.
And as he finishes up that phrase, he just looks at the food and starts tearing into it, making a mess on his face and on the ground. From a corner, there's a ceramic pot, and he pushes it with a foot over to you, and it sloshes with cactus water. It's a gallon of cactus water if anybody wants to drink.
Yes, have
Yeah,
a drink.
definitely.
I'm good. I had that
And he
delicious fruit.
sort of studies you for a little while, seemingly very comfortable with the awkward silence that starts to sort of hang in the air. Sometimes staring at the lot of you, especially those that look less than Dre.
Is there any way I can like look at his stuff and kind of see if there's like any personal items?
Yeah, you can do like a perception. What it looks like is he's got a dirty robe on, and like there is in the corner this sort of gnarled staff. It looks like a living wood.
Oh, I really
I
want to touch
will,
that stuff right now. Never mind.
Yeah.
Go on.
Besides that, like the inside of this place is sloppy.
Mm-hmm.
This is like what you would expect in the slums. The mud's tracked in. There's no accounting for like cleanliness. It smells a tiny bit like pee in here. It's basically Hobo Town.
Does the
Beef is
dragon
perfectly
know you're here?
at peace with this.
That is not significant enough to be seen by the dragon. Nor does he approach the place of dying. There is no quarrel with the dragon.
Interesting.
These ones should go. The dragon comes soon.
So did he stick that feather somewhere?
Just stuck it right into his, like, unceremoniously into his robe.
Oh, he doesn't
okay.
have like
Hanging in his
he
pocket.
Well,
doesn't
he's-
have like a cap or anything to
You're
put
not even
it
sure
in.
he's appreciating it. Like,
While he's sitting there, I'm gonna pull out some of my like threads from my weaving materials and gesture to the feather and be like, I'm gonna like take it out of the robe and like weave it into it a little bit so it's one, not gonna fall out on him, and two, a little more like
okay.
decorative.
He almost cringes at first at your approach. And then lets you, inspecting you, like basically monitoring you closely as you're doing it.
Yeah, I'm
As
just,
if,
and
as
I'm
if you
gonna
might
like
stab him any second.
run a like reverent finger along the feather, and I'm going to give him a hug.
And he stands there with his arms out, like he doesn't know what to do with
He
that
needs a hug.
interaction at all.
Yep, I'm fine with this. He needs a hug. He's getting a hug.
And as you hug him, I'm just trying to expect some things. He looks at the others and then says, "What will these ones do next? Go to the place of dying?"
Yep, I have to climb a high thing so I can look for my friend. And then if he's there, I have to kill one of the Templar. Ooh, no, I can't kill it. He has to be alive. I have to knock out one of the Templars and tie him up and make it so he can't scream, and let him take my friend's place.
And Minar sort of like clasps your shoulders and pushes you out a little bit and says, then it is best not to get attached. This one will be dead very soon. And he looks over at
I hate
at
you.
the other two Dre. Yeah, a little bit of sorrow pouring out. And
Oh.
he looks at Sarah's based on his character.
No, I'm laughing at Beastie's entire plan. I'm like, really?
Very proud of this plan. by
In
the way.
character, I'm not laughing. In character, I'm looking at Beastie like, what the frick are you thinking?
I have an intelligence modifier of 0. Okay? I am proud of
Now
my
this means
plan.
average, although I think wisdom
That's
drives
too
actual
funny.
decisions.
Yeah, my wisdom's pretty good actually.
Yeah,
But my
so-
intelligence is 0, so I'm proud
I
of
do
this
not
plan.
agree
I'm
with
just
that
like,
plan.
So,
At
It's
all.
a good plan.
Yeah, sure. So there's two Dre here, and he looks at the
Oh
two
my
of them,
god.
and he says, "Did these ones come for the others?"
I
Yeah.
mean,
We do not agree with sacrifice.
if there was a way to get rid of that crater.
He seems confused by what you said, like it was the wrong answer.
You're pissing off my friend.
No, like that's not an answer he was expecting. And says, "The ones that look like these." As he kind of pokes a finger at you.
I do not wash the dead dragon. No.
And neither do I.
And the ones that are not your friends will not be happy to see you.
No.
Mm-mm.
And he
Are-
almost thinks wistful. He looks wistful for a second and says, "What has become of the one called Dracoff?"
They tried to bring him back.
He looks at you strangely. He is dead.
Yeah.
Dracoff should not come back. I forgot that I was supposed to switch my music. This is
Good
his
job.
music. Sorry.
GG.
Well, it still works. And so he said that Dragoth should not come back though. He almost seemed happy to hear he died. That also implies he is really goddamn good.
Yeah. I kind of caught that.
And he goes over to the window that points east, a little northeast. And he flicks a finger, and the vines sort of start separating out. And you can see just the tip of the tower, not too far away now. And says, "The ones that are not your friend have gone there." As he points to
Sure.
the tower.
She looks at Genevieve and she nods.
He's doing a lot of like archdruid type of shit. In druidic, I'm going to ask him if he hold on. I have to find there you are. Because I'm going to Um,
What's up?
there we go.
Oops, sorry, never mind.
You.
And I'm just gonna have him roll.
Roll what? Do we have to roll initiative?
No, his own knowledge
Oh.
on this sort of thing.
That was a joke, anyways.
Jesus
okay.
fucking Christ, she's got a plus 12 to whatever that was. Damn, son.
And he looks up into the kind of ceiling and goes, "Words on the wind, whisper no. But those whispers are a world away."
I'm just gonna ask, is he still alive? Do you know?
Alive and tending to the first three, the last three.
Do I know what that is?
Yeah. Can everybody
Yeah.
deafen themselves real quick? Anything else
If
you
they
wanted to
hear,
ask?
I was just gonna say,
They're all-
she would nod and, you know, be like, I'm glad it's still being tended.
I was worried I
Essentially.
did it too early.
Yeah, I accidentally, I realized I kind of said come in, like, and she was still trying to say something, but then
Okay.
I did this, but there's no undoing that, so I just...
No, no worries.
Yeah. It was fine anyway.
I didn't hear anything.
Yeah, you just responded, and that's fine. And so,
Yeah.
is there anything else you wanted to ask him? So yeah, he says, yeah, to the first, the last.
Yeah. No, I don't know how she would feel in response to that, like knowing. It's better to know, but she also kind of doesn't know how she feels about him, so, you know, she's got that, like, teenage angst shit going on where she's just like,
Sure, I get it.
kind of, yeah. But she's glad to know, so she thanks him for telling her.
When you speak of Nah, you see he's generally more and more relaxed, and says, these ones form a circle. Do you do that?
Is he meaning all of us?
Yeah, so he points to all of you and says, these ones to form a circle.
Yeah. I'll
Sure.
kind of
and he goes over to stand in the center and says, "Menard likes these ones. They should not die." And he places a hand in the center of it. The sort of house shudders again, and you hear a sort of strange combination of roars and hissings and growls, and each of you are impacted by the enhance ability spell. So cast to affect all 5 of you. And you may take your pick. Bull's strength, cat's grace, I think
Great.
bear's endurance, or
Oh, that's awesome.
pick one.
Right.
And it'll last an hour.
I'm gonna go with endurance.
Okay? Just make sure you track it. Some come with certain things. Like the endurance comes with temporary hit points. If you get the temporary hit points, roll them. You go with the strength, just know what you have. If you're confused as to what the hell you should be picking because you don't know anything about the spell, please tell me and I'll help you.
We'll pick strength, but I don't know how much to add for that.
I think you get advantage on any strength-based stuff. So let me...
Advantage on strength checks, and and your carrying capacity doubles, but I don't know if you want that. I was gonna pick the bear's endurance, which is I would get advantage on constitution checks, and I would also get 2d6 temporary hit points.
Yeah, it's a crowd favorite. Although advantage on dexterity is pretty good too.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, so just choose them. I trust that you'll track it. Here's the, what I'll do is I'll actually extend the card. So there's the card. Does that show? It says 2 GMs, so maybe it doesn't.
I do not see a card.
There.
Mm-mm.
I just pasted the contents.
So strength checks, does that include attacks with strength weapons or no?
Unfortunately, no.
Oh.
Although actually for grappling and athletics, that would be the case. So if you're doing athletics to grapple or to jump over something,
Or push.
yeah, or push someone, that would
Well,
work.
I'll go for the endurance then, in
Okay.
that case.
Yeah, hit points are low.
Yeah,
I know.
that's
But I
where I'd
wanted to
want
extend it to anybody who wanted it.
Well, I rolled terribly. Oh well.
It is what it is. Go ahead and
Do
add
we
the
have to-
temporary points.
Do we have
onto
to
your
roll
sheet.
temporary
Yep, roll
hit points?
2d6.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And when he's done, he turns over to. It looks like Nadia's the only one who's hurt. Oh no, Genevieve's hurt as well.
Mm-hmm.
But rather individually, he just presses a hand again on the floor and casts Mass Cure Wounds. And you are healed for 3d8 plus 5.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god.
Oops.
Alright.
18 hit points.
I'm gonna hug him again.
He says, kind of looks down at you again and says, "Don't die."
I'm gonna hold up my hand and say, high five.
I will try not to.
He points a finger and pokes the palm.
Excellent.
You don't think he got it.
Close enough.
I love him. He's my favorite now.
Going to pull out the ceramic that I just recently found that kind of make together a mess kit and hand it to him in a box. Like, a gift for the hospitality.
And he opens it up and sees the cutlery and stuff and goes, "What is it?"
You use it to eat so you don't get your hands all sticky.
He takes a ceramic and gnaws on it a little bit
Or to clean your teeth.
and puts it down and says, thanks. But you don't even need an insight check to see that he's going to gift it to the next person he sees.
Excellent.
And he walks over to, there's like this little like wooden box with like soil in it. And he walks over to it and takes it off the table and puts it in the center of the ground and says, Menard wishes you leave now. And with that,
Point to the wall.
he turns into a worm and burrows into the dirt. The wooden door just creaks open.
Well, that's a shame. I was gonna ask if I could buy his staff thing in the corner.
Yeah, maybe next time.
I wonder if I should just like leave like some bits and then just take it, because that would work, right?
Take
Beastie.
a penny, leave a penny.
And like Beastie can tell that I'm joking, obviously, but I'm like, I could just leave him all my bits and then take it, right? That'd be fine, right, Beastie?
She is still glaring.
What? It was a joke. It was funny. I thought it was funny.
Now we're at the 4:30 point. Does anybody need to leave right away? Okay.
I just need the bathroom.
I don't
Sorry.
account for guests. I'm very sorry. But I appreciate it. Yeah, go ahead and, so, if you can hold it, we're basically, well, I mean, okay, so do we want to run another half hour or longer, or is this a good time to stop? If I hear one person tell me that's a good time to stop.
Nadia
then
says
yeah,
she
that's
can.
it.
Lexi can't.
Lexi can't?
Yeah,
Okay.
Lexi
Then,
can't.
in that case, let's stop. And then, like, if we can just talk about, from now on,